Live from Pan American Stadium here in New Orleans, Louisiana, it's playoff football on Crescent City Sports. Prep playoff football. Ken Berthelot, Wade Kaiser here tonight to watch this exciting game between the McDonogh 35 Roneagles and the Jennings Bulldogs. And Wade Kaiser, you've got two teams who deserve to be here, two coaches who have done a fine job all year. And I know often we say this is going to be a heck of a game, but this one with two explosive offenses promises to be just that.
Well, you've got McDonogh 35 at a 16 seed, and you got Jennings at a 23 seed, and they have come in. Both teams have done an excellent job in their last 5 or 6 weeks of the regular season, driving them into the playoffs, and they got hot at the right time. And talking to Rusty Phelps from Jennings earlier tonight, and he kept saying, he said, every week out since about week 6, he said, we got a little better, and they're peaking right at the right time, and here they are sitting in the semifinals. Wayne Reese said the same thing, especially after going through that extremely hard non-district schedule at the top of his schedule at the beginning of the year.
Well, Wayne Reese, at 75 years old and still has the desire to help kids and coach. 4 centuries of coaching prep football, has never been to the state championship game. So tonight's a big night for him, because if he wins it, he's going to the state championship game at the Louisiana Superdome next week for the very first time.
And he's very well deserving, as well as his staff. And they do such a great job with their kids. Week in, week out, they're so well prepared. That's one of the things about a Wayne Reese McDonogh 35 team. And as well as all the other schools, which I'm sure we'll get in tonight and talk about where he's coached in the state of Louisiana, that his teams are so well prepared and fundamentally sound.
On the other side of the coin, you've got Rusty Phelps, his 24th year at Jennings, and you know what? He's never won a state championship. Jennings has won 2. They've won 2 state championships in 1939 and 1992. But Matt Viator, who later went to coach at Sulphur and then McNeese, was the coach that won that state championship at Jennings. He's been very good. They rebuilt last year with a 4-7 record, but this is a program that's been very, very good. They've been to the quarterfinals 3 of the last 5 years, the semis in 2017. Last year, 4-7 rebuilding. This year he's loaded and he's losing nobody. So this year and next year, you could see Jennings go back-to-back for the state championship game.
Well, if anybody's going to get him, they better get him this year, like we had talked about prior to the pregame show. They were a 5-5 regular season team, a 23 seed. Now they're currently 8-5. So they hit that stride at the perfect time after about week 5. They got better and better every week, and they were in a couple of close games. They lost a tough one to Eunice on the 10-yard line, where they fumbled the ball at the 10-yard line. They lost to DeRidder. They didn't play very well up in DeRidder, and then they turned things around, and all of a sudden things start clicking. You'll see their offense tonight is going to be centered around 2 running backs running split back veer offense. And if people in the football gurus out there that can't say that the old-time offenses, the 2-back, split-back offenses can't win anymore because you got to run spread and you got to run pro and you've got to run all these other types of things, well, they just need to travel over to River Ridge and look at Sean Curtis, and they need to look at Jennings, who's been running split-back veer for a long time, and those guys are a perennial playoff team.
And Wayne Reese at McDonogh 35 is running the old offenses he used at his alma mater when he went there at Tennessee State, and that Eddie Robinson used at Grambling, and that's that old-time pro offense, primarily running, passing when you needed, heavy power running, and you know what? He's had a lot of success with it in his 4 stops at Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver here in New Orleans, where he coached Marshall Falk, Washington Marion, and McDonogh 35 here where he's at now. So
he's going to base his offense also at a split back. You'll see now and then, but he's going to usually in his power game have a lead blocker with some sort of offensive lineman sealing up and getting up to the second level. And they've had a great season with Stevelyn Williams, number 5, their running back, that is on fire in the past few weeks for this Roneagle offense.
Well, when you look at both schedules, Jennings comes in here 8-5. Both teams started 0-3 against bigger, tougher schools to get ready for their district. After Jennings lost their first 3, they went 3-2 over the next 5 and then rattled off 5 in a row. So they're on a 5-game winning streak to be 8-5. McDonogh, after going 0-3, McDonogh 35, that is, after starting 0-3, has reeled off 10 in a row, and now they're 10-3. So you've got two teams that are both on win streaks, a 5-game win streak for Jennings, a 10-game win streak for McDonogh 35. And it's interesting, as we look at keys to the game, I know talking with first the home team, if you want to go that way, Wayne Reese said, we've got speed. We can match them in ability. We have to out-hustle them tonight and do our job.
Well, Jennings won the toss. They deferred Ken, and it looks like Roneagles will take the ball first offensively coming out of the north end zone.
And then when you look at the split T-veer that Jennings uses, and you talk with Coach Rusty Phelps, he says, look, we have to just be assignment sound. As you've said about so many times, just keep punching, and you're going to break one or two, and if they don't execute well, we're going to step in there and take this one.
Well, he believes in giving the body blows. If I keep body blowing in the first, second, and third quarter, in the fourth quarter, sometime sooner or later you're going to have to take a blow and you're going to be bending over, and that's when that split back veer works real well. You've heard me say 1,000 times when we've been calling the Curtis game, it's like Novocaine.
Yes.
Sooner or later, you're just numb from the pounding of the option offense in the split back veer. And that's what we're going to see tonight. We'll see option offense with a little power mixed in from the Jennings Bulldogs.
We'll have a Lafayette Association umpiring and refereeing this game tonight. Chad Velo is the referee, and a lot of experience with this crew tonight. They have they've officiated 17 state title games between them, and 171 years of experience on the field with this Lafayette officiating crew. So you're getting a really good crew for this ball game tonight.
Well, they're experienced, and they come from a very good association over in Lafayette, and these guys have been in semifinal games and final games before, so hopefully you see a well-oiled crew tonight doing a great job on the field for these young men.
McDonogh 35 is the home team. Both schools have maroon as their color. McDonogh 35 is maroon and gold, so they will be wearing gold helmets with solid maroon uniforms, maroon jerseys, maroon pants, and they've got the gold numerals. Easy for announcers to read and see. We like that. Thank you, McDonogh 35, as is the numbers on Jennings. They are also maroon and white, and they are all in all white with a little bit of gray, trimmed in maroon, white headgear with a maroon stripe down the center of the helmet, and white jerseys with big maroon numbers. So McDonogh 35 will have the ball first, and that means we'll see Manuel Armstrong and DeMond Pratt, but we'll see a lot of Steveland Williams, and of course a lot of people are waiting to see Trevor, and you're going to hear it if you watch Clemson, because Travis is the brother, Etienne, at Clemson, and the little brother Trevor, a sophomore, is running the offense for Jennings here. So there's the kick. It's a short kick and will be returned to about the 35-yard line. It would rain on the return, and good field position for McDonogh 35 to start. They'll mark it officially at the 36-yard line. So let's see. Right off the bat, we may be having a clock problem. The play clock is not working, so they will have to do that on the field with the back judge until they can figure out what's going on with the play clock, and that's probably a malfunction. This is a relatively new stadium, but it's been well, now it looks like it's working. They got it down to 25. Nope, it's just not working, and that's why they have not. If you're watching on the stream, quarterback. There will be two quarterbacks used tonight. DeMond Pratt is the other. He'll throw on first down, and it's batted down right off the bat by Jaden Saunier, the sophomore defensive end.
Jaden Saunier, coming from his defensive end position, gets his hands up on a quick pass, which is what you want to teach defensive linemen to do. Short, set, stop the rush, get your hands up, and try to get your hands into the throwing lane and get some sort of deflection, and that's exactly what Jaden Saunier did right there. Jennings opening up in a 4-2-5 look, 8-man front on their defensive alignments.
Second down and 10. Put it on the ground this time, and there's the run by Steve Land, and he's got the first down and a lot more. He's just so hard to bring down. Steve Land Williams making it happen with a big gain into Jennings territory for a gain of about 38 yards on that run.
You can see Stephen Williams uses his speed to bounce outside and get onto the edge. That's one thing Rusty Phelps said in his pregame talk with us, that he was extremely worried about Williams' speed, especially on the perimeter.
Not only with speed, he's got that quickness which makes him so powerful and so strong at what he does. First and 10 from McDonogh 35 on the opening series of the game. Good play action throughout to Steve Land Williams on the far side, and Steve Land is brought down at the 35-yard line for a gain of 6. Kobe Estes on the tackle.
Nice little out route right there off a play-action pass. Try to get those linebackers to step up right there. They try to step up thinking that the run's coming downhill at them. It opens up the flats and the curl area, and they get the ball out to the flat right there for a nice pickup and a really nice manageable second down situation.
Danuel Armstrong, the quarterback, engineering a nice opening drive. Here on second down, and this time they'll toss it. This is Dwayne Dales Jr., and he'll take the little toss and carry very close, but just short of a first down. So it'll be third down and 1.
Getting the ball out there on the jet sweep, but you notice how they toss it to him. Actually, they're tossing that forward, so if that thing would have been dropped, it would have been considered an incomplete pass.
So here's your third down and 1. Dales shifts over to the right side. Long count. Play action again. This time the toss good to Claudell McDonald. McDonald with running room. McDonald to the 20. Wow, what a run by McDonald.
Little option route right there by McDonald from his slot position. You're going to see that they're going to run the flat hitch route right there, picking on the outside linebacker from Jennings. If the outside linebacker widens, they're going to dump the ball on the hitch right there on the little option route. And a great read, great play, great scheme right there by Mac 35 to pick up that first down.
20-yard gain on that. Armstrong for the gun with double blockers. Fakes to one, gives to the other. Not much more by Raymond Foreman, who was the second option on that play. Kyle Carey there to make the tackle.
Kyle Carey from his defensive line position steps in there nice on the counter play. Nowhere to go. It's like running into a wall right there. Foreman just didn't have any place to run. Nobody went with the first fake. Everybody sat at home for the second handoff.
Always working that.
Second down. 11. This time he'll work under center. The lefty will throw it. Incomplete pass.
Well, they run the back out of the backfield on an option route, run him right down the seam, and what ends up taking place is that he's wide open. It's just not a very good pass right here off the sprint to the left, trying to throw back to the right. You can see running right through the seam right there, and there you go. Just not a very good pass right there. Did have a wide open receiver.
At the 12-yard line. Third down. They can get a first down without scoring at about the 1.5-yard line. Armstrong. He'll fake, he'll throw into the end zone, and this one broken up. Intended that time for Dales, broken up by Prejean.
Ball was thrown a little late on the slant route. Had he thrown that ball a little earlier, gotten into his hands, you can see on the replay right here, if he throws that ball now, right there, just a little bit too late in behind him, allows Prejean to step in there and make a play on the post slant route. That would have probably been touchdown for Mac 35. Got to get rid of that ball a little bit sooner on that route as soon as he clears that linebacker.
The kicking game has been a bit of a challenge for Mac 35, so they're going to go for it on 4th down instead of attempting a field goal. And here's a little toss. He's got a man. It's caught. And fighting near the 1st down marker. I believe that's Raymond Foreman. Let's check. It was Raymond Foreman, and he did not make the 1st down.
Well, Foreman's coming out of the backfield right there.
Turns over on downs.
He's wide open right there in the flat. They get the ball to him real quick, and he just doesn't get to the line to be made, and it's going to be a turnover, like you said, from 4th down. Jennings takes over the ball deep in their own territory.
Well, if you hear us hesitate a little bit, there's just a bunch of people standing in front of us, and we're trying to clear it so we can get a view. The officials can't see it either. There's one sitting in the press box here, so it's been a little bit difficult. And the 1st down run, flag on the play on 1st down as Lawrence Bub Wilridge is set to run the Jennings Bulldog offense for the first time with 8:46 to play in the 1st quarter. I want to welcome our audience tonight on CrescentCitySports.com, watching from all over the country, and I know a lot of people are watching in Charlotte, North Carolina. This will be against the Roneagles because the little brother of Travis, Trevor, as they say it on ESPN, ATN, but the pronunciation in South Louisiana is Ashan. Trevor Ashan, number 5. You'll watch him, and he'll run this offense a lot tonight. Gets the call that time, but nothing.
Split back offense right there, running the power play off tackle to their right. Nobody got the block on the defensive end. Can't get the defensive end number on that particular play because of our sight line here, but the defensive end was sitting right there in the backfield and pulled down the back for no gain. The penalty was a personal foul that was marked off. Don't know what the foul was. It was marked off, and that's the reason why they have kind of gotten out of their own end zone.
Give to Aishan again, and he'll try the right side, get hit and pushed back in almost a rugby scrum. That was just a gang tackle led by Jamarian Henderson of McDonogh, 35.
No place to go that time again either. Here's a good look at it again, running the power lead right there, off tackle, kick out the defensive end. Again, nobody blocks the defensive end. It looks like he ragdolled the running back who was the lead blocker to step right in there and make the tackle.
So this will bring up 3rd down, and they need about 4. And they'll use a swing pass out of the backfield to, well, actually it was a little bit more than that. It was about 14. And they'll be short of the 1st down, and that may bring up a punting situation for Jennings.
First time they go to an eye look, they break the split backfield, and they go to an eye, and they try to throw a little swing pass out of the backfield there to Etienne, and he just doesn't have enough room to get out there with the pursuit from the MAC 35 defense. They drive him out of bounds. Can bring up a punting situation for the Bulldogs.
Steven Williams will be deep, and Jamarian Henderson back just a little bit shorter. Nice punt by Noah Brissett. And a return, Steven Williams, look out, he's got room on the right side. Steven Williams knocked out of bounds in Jennings territory, and he turned on the speed on that return.
He lets the ball hit the ground, first thing you shouldn't do, but he gets the right hop. The ball, you'll see, will bounce right into his hands, and he takes off to his right, and there's a natural wall set up over there to the right. The whole coverage team from Jennings was sucked inside to their right, so their left was completely left wide open with a fleet of blockers out in front of him. Steven Williams takes off and picks up those valuable yards, those unspoken about yards that you hear a lot of times coaches talk about to set up a great 1st down situation for the Roneagles.
Working under center. Armstrong will hand it off to Steven Williams, who just made the punt return. He's got room on the left side. Steven Williams will take it, but a flag is down, so hold everything. Flag on the play. This one might be coming back. Lauren Higginbotham on the stop for Jennings.
Try to run it off, tackle right there on an ISO play. Steven Williams bounces it outside. If it isn't there, keep your feet moving and bounce, and that's exactly what it did. Here's the call from our head official tonight from the Lafayette Association.
Chad Vallow is our referee tonight from the Lafayette Association.
Got a holding penalty. It'll be a spot penalty from the spot of the foul. Let's see if we can see it on our replay. Here's the ISO off tackle. Look how he gets banged up by Jennings right there. Steven Williams is oh, there it is right there. There's your takedown right there at about the 25-yard line. Steven Williams, I tell you what, I'm impressed with him, Ken. He's got nice feet, nice vision. If the hole isn't open up inside, he's bouncing that thing outside. Jennings is going to have to do something to bring up some contain from their secondary to keep that from happening.
So it'll be first down and about 11, let's say 12 at the 34-yard line. Little counter right up the middle. Big room. This is all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Ashton Jones.
Ashton Jones hits it right up the A-gap on the counter trap. Backside guard pulls, kicks the defensive tackle right there, and watch him hit the A-gap. Look how fast he hits this from his fullback position. Here comes the pulling guard right into your picture. Bang, there he goes right there. Bang, there's the hole. Look at the cut north and south. Once he's in the secondary, nobody's catching him. Great scheme by Mac 35. Great speed by the Mac 35 running back Ty Johnson.
Wayne Reese told us before the game if there was an advantage that McDonogh 35 had in this game with Jennings, it might be overall speed. And they had to use it. They had to get players in space to use it. That time, the space came right up the middle.
Well, they're using their speed. You've seen it on their punt return. You've seen it now on a couple times on a couple of runs, especially from Steven Williams. They have a lot of team speed.
Flags all over before the snap.
Looks like they were trying to run some sort of swing and gate.
Yeah, they had the swing and gate on. Looked like it might not be covered. Again, the kicking game all year, except for punting. Punting pretty good, but the kicking game has been a challenge for the Roneagles. So don't be surprised if they don't try to use the swing and gate to go for two on many of these point afters.
Well, the swing and gate is all right from the 3. It's tough to do it from about the 10 or the 9-yard line. Or in this case, the 8.
Now we've got rain coming down right now.
Well, I'm glad I'm in here.
Me too. It started to rain here at Pan American Stadium.
Well, the little front coming through.
It's a fake. It's a fake. And Claudel McDonald tries to run it. He won't go anywhere. And
all right,
it'll be a 6-0 lead for McDonogh 35.
Here's my thing. You're better with if you don't have the kicking game for the PAT, the scrimmage kick, then let's just line up and go for it, because I think I'm better with my offense on the field than I am with my kicking team. So who are we fooling with all of the stuff, you know? So line up and let's put my offense on. Let's put the ball in the hands of guys like Steven Williams and those type of guys. I think you'll see Wayne Reese make that decision as the night wears on for him.
A 34-yard touchdown run by Ashton Jones, and the point fails as the rain comes down here at Pan American Stadium, and it is 6-0. McDonogh 35 leading Jennings with 6 minutes and 44 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Tell you what, 2 great plays for the score, both out of the Roneagles. I really like the counter trap that they used right there to pop that long run right up the middle. Great scheme-wise by that Roneagle offense.
Jamarian Henderson. Onside kick it, and it's bobbled, and McDonogh 35 may have it. Let's see. Oh, flag down, though. They might.
I think they might be offsides.
They may have touched it. They're either offsides or maybe the ball didn't go 10 yards when it was recovered. So let's see.
I think they were going to get offsides, Roneagles here. I think they crossed the line just before the ball was kicked. Otherwise, the ball did go 10, Ken. It bounces off of a white jersey and comes right back. to Mac 35, which had recovered it.
Are we just in an era of football where onside kicks are suddenly becoming super successful?
I have no idea. Well, maybe we need to talk to Sean Payton about that.
Two in regulation and one didn't count. He had 3 work against his team last week.
You can see the ball bounce right off the Jennings defender and come right back to a Roneagle. But prior to that, Roneagle was offsides. It looked like the person that was to the immediate left of the kicker.
And Jamarian Henderson will kick it again, this time no onside kick. He's going to kick it deep, and this one will be returned by Shrevon Ashane. And he gets a pretty good return out of that, and will give Jennings some good field position with 6:34 to go here in this first quarter. So let's see if the Bulldogs of Jennings can get their offense untracked here. Look, it doesn't matter what the weather is. These are two teams that particularly like to run, even though McDonogh 35 has used the pass on to get the score and to get everything they needed on the first couple of series. They've moved by way of the pass. They're mostly a running team, and of course with the split T veer that Jennings uses, weather will not hurt them as the rain comes down here now. And here's a little handoff right up the middle.
They run counteraction off of that time. They fake the toss one way, and
Jalen Lewis on the run.
They bring the halfback back underneath with a pull and guard and pull and tackle backside. Nice little pickup, nice scheme. They get the kick out and the seal up on the linebacker, and they had a nice hole right there for, I believe that was Trevor Etienne.
Jalen Lewis.
That was Jalen Lewis that had the ball that time. Again, our sight lines here aren't real good. There's your veer right there. Quick inside veer hit.
Yeah, just quick inside veer. That's what they're going to try to run. They're going to pound it. That time it was Trevor Eshan. And again, if you're watching in the Charlotte, North Carolina area or Clemson area and you want to see Trevor's younger brother, or rather Travis's younger brother, Trevor, the sophomore down in South Louisiana, it said Eshan, and as opposed to Etienne, which most people say all around college football and ESPN. He follows his brother there or goes to LSU. By the way, he already has offers as a sophomore, as do a number of these Jennings players. Straight ahead on the short yardage for the first down on third, and the quarterback keeper by Will Ridge makes it 1st and 10 Jennings, and they've got their offense now starting to get in gear.
Well, they run the quarterback snake. Mac 35 is giving them 2-2 techniques inside. That's head up the guards with their 2 defensive tackles, and their linebackers are playing 4 to 5 yards off the ball. So the quarterback's walking up, goose in the center, and just taking that ball for 5 yards right up the center. They're taking what the defense gives. And when I say 2 technique, when you count defensive linemen, you count them by techniques where they're lined on offensive linemen. Head up the guard is a 2 technique.
And boy, look at this hit right up the middle, and the good run that time again by Jalen Lewis, the junior, and he's just got that quick burst of speed and is so hard to bring down. There's another first down.
Well, Jalen Lewis right here takes the ball on the inside veer. They get the read on the defensive end, which was up the field, so it's a give for the quarterback. He's reading the last man on the line of scrimmage. He pops that so fast, before you know it, he's running around in the secondary. They're going to have to bring that defensive end down to take the first threat, Kenny. That's what they're going to have to do to stop that hard dive.
Got 18 yards on that and made it look really easy. So another first down in a hard rain coming down at Pan American Stadium. Here's the give this time. Not much there. Trevor Etienne.
Well, Mac 35 right there, Kenny, brings the lineman down and bangs up the give on the outside veer that time, which is right off tackle. Quarterback should have gotten a read for a pull on that particular play. He should have ripped that thing out and taken that thing around the edge. I don't think the linebacker was there to take him. The linebacker sucked inside for the hard dive on the outside veer.
With that wet football, too, Jennings being very careful with it, and Will Ridge at quarterback. operating and engineering a good drive. Oh, hit that time at the line of scrimmage, and they just plugged the hole, and there was nowhere for Trevor Ashan to go, and he's thrown for at least a yard loss. Tyreek Nelson with the stop, or Tyreek Jones, rather, with the stop.
Tyreek Jones comes all the way down from his defensive end position, so there's the answer. That's what McDonogh 35 has to do against the hard dive, either in the inside veer or the outside veer. Bring that defensive end down to the first threat and take the first threat right there and force the ball to bounce outside. He banged it up right there. Again, that should have been a pull read by the quarterback on the veer.
Now, this is one of those days you're happy to have turf down there and not be playing in the mud, because this one would be a mud bowl real quick, but they have turf, and Willridge gets tripped as he hands the ball off, and that play gets busted up right there at the line of scrimmage. Jalen Lewis with maybe a yard to the 20-yard line, and that's going to bring up fourth. Well, they've got fourth down on the marker. That is fourth down coming up.
Well, right there was the right read. This veer offense, that was the inside veer to the weak side. It was the right read, right give, and like we said, you keep pounding that like body punches, and sooner or later that thing pops, like we saw about 6 or 7 plays ago.
With just under 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, Willridge, he wants to throw. He's got a man. It's caught. And is it a touchdown? It is. It's caught. And it's Jacorian Palfrey.
Jacorian Palfrey runs a post route. They sprint out to their right, throw it back to their left on the post route, and it's touchdown Jennings Bulldogs. Nice play action pass right there. Great execution. Great protection by the offensive line. Had a little bit of a step on the corner right there. Ball was placed perfectly. First score for Jennings tonight.
Jacorian Palfrey has been awfully quiet in this game, and he's one of the big playmakers. He's one of the game changers for Jennings, and they had to get him involved in the offense, and they just did. Ian Mullen in to attempt the point after, and it is good. So with the extra point, the Bulldogs take the lead over McDonogh 35 by the score of 7-6.
You know, the kicking game could be the thing tonight that could be the difference for both teams right there. You know, Mac 35 having trouble with the kick. They might think about every time they score, lining up and going for two, like I said, putting the ball in the hands of your best playmakers.
Crescent City Sports Prep Football is presented by Ye Olde College Inn and Rockin' Bowl. Rockin' Bowl now with 2 locations on South Carrollton Avenue in New Orleans and Jefferson Street in downtown Lafayette. See a full schedule of entertainment at rockinbowl.com and join us at Rockin' Bowl in New Orleans for the weekly Greater New Orleans Quarterback Club Luncheon each Tuesday at noon, including the big one coming up where all the athletes of the week and the players of the week are going to be honored in the big luncheon. So that is exciting. Tuesdays at Rockin' Bowl makes it a lot of fun. So a squib kick in this bad weather, but a great return and an opening. Look out. This one might go the distance for McDonogh 35. And it's a kickoff return for a touchdown in the rain.
Terry Williams.
My goodness. Terry Williams with the kickoff return for the score.
Terry Williams gets it bounced, one bounce to him, and he gets that ball and takes off. It looks like there is a flag, though, on that play. Looks like that is coming back for possibly a hold somewhere right at about the 45-yard line of the Roneagles. Oh, my goodness, that's going to get nullified. What a burst of speed that was right up the middle. You can see him. He runs away from everybody, but it's coming back for a holding penalty.
We're going to see if that what role that will play in this game, because that's 6 points, possibly 8 points off the board. And how big is that? But it's coming back, and what an explosive play. My goodness. By Terry Williams.
While we at it, we got some scores here from our semifinal night for the end championship night too.
Well, so hold those for a second. First down for the Roneagles. They're going to go under center in the rain. Danuel Armstrong, still the quarterback. Handoff and just a straight-ahead run. And, boy, that takes the wind out of your sails when something like that long touchdown kickoff return is called back. Stephen Williams on that last carry and doesn't get much. Gets about 3. Second and 7.
Couple surprises, Kenny, already. Destrahan and Houghton, 7-7 in the first quarter in that semifinal game in 5A football. And there's a 0-0 score between Catholic High Baton Rouge and Rummel in the state championship Division I championship game over at Yeoman Stadium.
Stephen Williams again hits
a
bunch of tacklers, bounces off, comes to the near side. He's got room to run, dangerous in space, turns the corner and is pulled down at the 40-yard line. And that's going to be a 21-yard gain by Stephen Williams, finally brought down with a jersey pull tackle by Demarion Simon.
Kenny, I don't think you could catch him in a phone booth. Man, I tell you what, did you see him? The speed and the lateral movement that he had. Watch him bounce right here to the outside. You know, there's always an old saying in the game of football, you got to run east, you got to run north and south on a north and south field. You can't go east and west. Well, Stephen Williams right there went east to get north.
Yeah, he did, and it's the burst of quickness. Look, it looked like Jennings had him at the line, and he bounced off the tackler and then just made something happen. Very, very special by Stephen Williams. Armstrong looking over the defense, trying his hands. Quick drop, and the lefty will throw. He's got a man very close to first down yards. Ball comes out. Was he down, or will they call that incomplete? I believe they're calling it incomplete.
Let's see if we can see it on our replay. You're going to see the tight end release straight up into the seam right there, and he's going to hook up right there in that soft zone.
That's Renwick Doyle.
My goodness gracious, that looks like that was a catch and possibly a fumble, at least on the replay.
Yeah, it sure did look like that, didn't it? So, second down, 10. Danuel Armstrong getting the play call from the sideline. Now makes the call. Jennings looking like they're going to bring, fumbled the snap, and he's just got to jump on that ball. Danuel Armstrong had trouble getting in and gathering it in, but he did.
On a wet
loss, yeah.
On a wet night like tonight, you got to make sure you secure the snap first. You can see he kind of pulled out real quick. Let's see if we can see it on the replay. He's going to pull out of there, and you can see the ball isn't even in his hands yet. Hits the center's tail, ball goes onto the ground. Roneagles are lucky right there.
Rain still coming down hard. It is pouring down here at Pan American Stadium. So the loss of 1 makes it 3rd down and 11 at the 41-yard line of Jennings for this McDonogh 35 offense with so much speed. Armstrong wants to throw, and he'll screen it out to the right. Not much there. The Bulldogs had that one played very, very well. And Trevor Chen makes the tackle.
Trevor Chen comes up and does a nice job playing both ways right now. They have him in there at corner. He read the screen, sniffed it out, comes up from his corner position right there and makes a great tackle on the MAC 35 screen, which is going to bring up a punting situation for the Roneagles.
But the first quarter has come to an end. The clock has run down in this pouring rain at Pan American Stadium. And at the end of the first quarter, we have a 1-point game as Jennings is leading 7-6 over McDonogh 35 on the missed extra point, which was a fake of the kick because the Roneagles are struggling in their kicking game this year. And let me remind you one more time that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is presented by Ye Old College Inn and Rockin' Bowl. Rockin' Bowl now with 2 locations on South Carrollton Avenue in New Orleans and Jefferson Street in downtown Lafayette. That's close enough for the Jennings crew to go out and enjoy that in Lafayette, Louisiana. See a full schedule of entertainment at rockinbowl.com and join us at Rockin' Bowl in New Orleans for the weekly Greater New Orleans Quarterback Club Luncheon each Tuesday at noon.
Kenny, the winner of this game is going to have the winner of St. James and Union Parish in the state finals next week in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Right now we've got a first quarter score from St. James up 7-6 on Union Parish.
4th down. Long way to go. Punt team's in, and we've got procedure.
Well, you can't do that, can you? I mean,
It's going to move them back another 5.
You've got to look in at the ball. If you were the whitest guy on the line of scrimmage, you shouldn't be listening to any type of cadence or anything of that nature. You got to look in at the ball. When the ball moves, that's when you go. And I think he decided to lead a little bit early. Either that or he thought he was in Canada, one of the two.
We also would like to acknowledge the students that are in attendance tonight.
Well,
And the parents.
you know, the PA announcer is
Football team and all their
kind of talking about all the students and people who are here tonight. And there's another flag. There's somebody jumped a little early and went early on that one. It looked like everybody went and the ball was a little slow to snap. And that's going to cost the Roneagles another 5. So how much of this is weather related with this extremely hard rain coming down?
Well, we knew coming in, and even Wayne Reese told you that they've had some issues in the kicking game all year, and this might be magnified right here with some of the issues that they're having, not being able to get the ball off. You've got to be able to get the ball off in any type of weather. Wayne Reese will tell you that. He's been around long enough, and we've got a third whistle and a flag. So this is going to mark them off again.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Here we go.
These are things that can hurt you and keep you out of the state championship.
This
obviously.
is 15 yards in procedure penalties on a punt that you were punting from the Jennings side of the 50 would have backed them up probably in their red zone, maybe near the goal line. And now, if anything, the Bulldogs are going to probably get some pretty good field position out of this. Ethan Mack waiting to return the punt, standing now at his own 25-yard line. He was back at near the goal line prior to that.
All right, we got a punt.
We finally got a punt by the Roneagles, and it's going to get a great McDonogh 35 roll and be downed inside the 10-yard line.
Kenny, how many times have you heard me say you got to catch punts? I mean, when balls hit the ground in the kicking game, nothing good happens. That's the reason why you use the fair catch, run up there, and catch that football. That's a vital mistake. Lost yardage by the Jennings Bulldogs. Not a very good job by that punt returner. I'm sure he's going to get told something as he comes off the field by his coaching staff.
Yeah, and that's going to be close to about a 70-yard punt, again, because you pick it up and try to get some yardage out of that.
That's the secret. You go back 15 yards in penalties, punt the ball 70 yards forward if you don't catch the ball.
Will be accepted. Support your team in a positive manner and continue to enjoy.
So let's see what the Bulldogs have in store in this rain, on the ground, trying to just push it out away from their goal line, and they again give it to Trevor Ashan. If you're listening anywhere around again and you're following Clemson, big brother Travis, and they pronounce it Etienne up there. But in Jennings and in South Louisiana, it's pronounced Trevor Ashan. You can say that. When he got when Big Brother got to Clemson, everybody just picked up and just saying Etienne. You see the letters run ETN all the time, and that's they put that up because that's how his name would be phonetically pronounced.
There's the counterplay again. They fake it one way and they come back the other way. The ball bounces outside. You see Jalen Lewis will run, trying to hit it up inside. There's the counter step. There's the guard and the tackle pulling. Nothing there, and he bounces it outside for a nice gain. Look at his speed on the edge.
Yeah.
One thing we've got tonight is we got sets of running backs that have some speed in the open spaces.
And you got a lot of rain besides that coming down, wreaking a little havoc on this game. So we're trying to see over the umbrellas now in this very short press box. And with that, we might have some pass interference. We got a little bump, and a flag does get thrown, and this is going to be pass interference on probably Foley.
Rashad Foley, I think, gets there just a little bit too soon from his free safety position. They're trying to hit the post backwards, sprint there to the Jennings right, hit the post route backside, get the whole secondary to roll from one side to the other. Sitting right there in the middle was Foley, and Foley just gets there a little bit too soon. So they mark off that big one.
39-yard line.
Moves the ball out to the 39-yard line. Amazing with some of the big plays that we've had that we only have a 7-6 score in this game. Jennings Bulldogs with it. And one fake, then the give. Trevor Ashen, getting mixed up with Big Brother at Clemson. And again, you'll even hear the public address announcer pronounce it like they pronounce Big Brother's name at the end.
Well, Trevor Etienne right there does a nice job. He's just no place to go inside trying to run the counter. Watch him right here put a move on the defensive lineman, but as he's running east and west, look what's converging on him. All those maroon jerseys from the Roneagles right there with no place to go, they just run them out of bounds. Look how fast that Roneagle defense was getting off their blocks, getting to where they needed to be in order to contain Trevor Etienne.
Second down. Long way to go. Second and almost 20.
There's a flag on the play.
Looks like we're going to delay a game.
That penalty is against the Bulldogs.
Again,
Well,
right, the 40-second clock is out right now. So what's going to happen is the quarterback's got to look at the back judge back there, that when there's 5 seconds left on the clock, he's going to put his hands up in the air. So when he put his hands up in the air, you as a quarterback know that I have 5 seconds to get that ball off to stay within the realm of the 40-second clock. The LHSAA and the rest of the country with the National Federation went to a 40-second clock, just like the NFL and college football went to many years ago. They went to it this year. Quarterback's got to know, when I don't have a clock, where do I have to look?
Wilbridge has them ready to go. Long way to go. You need at least maybe half of it here on second down. Not going to get it. Tariq Jones there to make the stop, and you're running most of the time with your two big running backs, Trevor Ashan and Jalen Lewis.
Tariq Jones right there does a great job from his defensive end position, getting his hands on the offensive lineman, shedding the block, getting off of there, and making a nice play out there on his right edge.
Oh, they had a flag on the play, which I did not see on that one. But it was declined by the Roneagles. And that's going to bring up third down and again, just forever. The line of scrimmage is at the 27, and they've got to go to the 49, their own 49 for a first down. So timeout by Jennings to talk about this one and try to figure how do you get all of that yardage back if you possibly can, because it's third down. Otherwise, you're punting it back.
Well, they don't have this on their call sheet, so you're going to see something that they would go to in a situation where they need to pick up at least half of it to try to put them in a situation where they'll punt the ball and play defense.
Well, that hard rain has let up, and if there's any rain, it's just a slight drizzle. Looking at some puddles on the side of the field, but at least the downpour has stopped here at Pan American.
Inspired Nova Charter School and McDonogh 35.
So let's see what Coach Rusty Phelps and his offense dials up on third and forever. Remember, they got to get to the 49-yard line. They're 49 for a first down. They're back right now at their own 27-yard line. But they're backed up deep in their own territory, the Jennings Bulldogs are. So this is an important down to it. Even if you don't get the first down, you got to move that ball out so you can flip the field.
Well, right now I don't understand what the problem is with the officials. We have we've got clock issues.
The clock issues is the play clock is not working.
Right. I think now they're discussing about where they're going to be eating after the game.
Well, they just had a penalty, which we did not see the flag. It was thrown near the bench, but it was declined. So the ball is where it was, and This is a...
All right, here we go. I think they've got it now. Whatever the issue was, they seem to straighten it out.
Yeah.
And now we're going to play third down.
Yeah, on the downs marker, they had flipped it over to fourth down, which there was no play run. Now they flip it back to third down, and we're ready to go. Third down and long. Throwing situation. He's going to uncork a bomb and just overthrows the intended receiver, which was Trey Williams.
Well, Trey Williams was very well covered over there by Larry Roneagles, the corner from the Roneagles, was step for step with him. That's not Jennings' game. The Jennings' game is not to be able to throw the ball down the field vertically.
No,
Their
split back veer, split T veer.
Their game is to pound it at you and take those body shots. And when you get way behind the chains like that, like they were, they're just trying to pick something off their play sheet to get lucky, or possibly some sort of deep ball to get a interference penalty.
Now Jamarian Henderson stands back near his own 40-yard line to receive this punt. Most of the rain has stopped except for a little bitty drizzle. Takes a last-minute Jennings bounce. Will get a good roll and be down to near about the 32-yard line. And that's where McDonogh 35 will start trailing the Jennings Bulldogs 7-6 with 9:54 to play in the first half.
Couple scores for you, Ken, right now across town. Catholic of Baton Rouge, Archbishop Rummel still 0-0. De La Salle and St. Thomas More. St. Thomas More up on De La Salle 13-0 in the second quarter. Acadiana up 14-0 on Zachary in the second quarter.
All right, there we go. This possession of the Roneagles will begin from their own 32-yard line.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Roneagles. And they're just pushing ahead. Here's Steven Williams on the call. Went straight ahead, tried to cut back the other way before finally being brought down. Nothing there. He does manage to get about 3.5 yards out of that.
Steven Williams running downhill from the I formation. You're going to see the double down. There's the kick out right there. He's going to cut back a little bit. Nice job by the Jennings linebackers right there. Jacob Cooper, Colby Estes stepping up and making a nice play for a short game.
Second down, just a little bit more than 6. And they're going to keep it on the ground, even though the rain has stopped. And this is Steven Williams again coming to the near side. Williams with a quick turn and a little burst of speed. Looked like he was going to be stopped. Has the first down and is pushed out of bounds by Kyle Terry.
That's all Steven Williams right there. Again, everything jammed up inside, trying to run the same play off tackle. Watch the bounce. Right there. Makes one man miss. Makes another man miss. Look at the block right there. And, you know, you're lucky, and McDonogh 35 was lucky that there was no flag thrown for that block back against the grain from their end zone. That was a new federation rule put in a couple years ago. Nice block right there by number 14, the wide receiver from McDonogh 35, but lucky he didn't get a penalty.
Gets the first down at his own 49-yard line. Still Danuel Armstrong at quarterback, and a flag thrown.
They're going to have a personnel issue for Mac 35 right here, running somebody on the field late.
That penalty is against the Roneagles.
Well, the good news from a weather standpoint is most of the rain has stopped. Most of the drizzle has stopped. Hardly anything coming down as we look at the puddles around the field. So that's the good news. Still a wet field, wet ball. It doesn't seem to be bothering anybody on the turf of Pan American Stadium here in New Orleans.
Semi-final game. You've got to play in any conditions. That's just the way it is.
Yep, you're right. So now from the 44, first down 15. They're going to try pounding that left side again, and just look at that drive. Just a hard drive by Ashton Jones before finally being pulled down by C.J. Wildridge.
Ashton Jones, a lot of lower body strength right there. Does a really nice job. You can see on our replay right here, again, running the power play. Double down kick out by the fullback. He rams it up inside, and he's dragging people with him.
Yeah, across the 50 now and over to the 47-yard line of the Jennings Bulldogs. That's their game. That's that offense that Wayne Reese says he just loves to run. Took it with him from Tennessee State. Loved it because Eddie Robinson ran it at Grambling. Armstrong in trouble, and he is going to be dropped and sacked way back there by Slate Lemieux.
Slate Lemieux.
How about that one?
Tell you what, Slate Lemieux right there. That's a mouthful right there. Comes off the block, and he gets penetration. All of a sudden, he's in the backfield. Look right there. He avoids the block, leaves him standing right there, and he's all over the quarterback, Armstrong. Armstrong couldn't even get his feet set to throw the football.
10-yard sack. Back to the 43-yard line. That makes it 3rd and long. 3rd and about 17 for the Roneagles. Play action. Little toss and fumble. Incomplete pass. Didn't get it. And boy, that was just a tough hit by Tragan Citizen. Wow.
Citizen comes up from his corner position on the bubble pass right there and just lights up the receiver. The ball pops out, incomplete pass.
Wayne Davis says he's still stretching that one out. He felt it. And wow, that was a tough one for the 5'7" junior wide receiver to take, and that's going to bring up a 4th down, and McDonogh 35 will have to punt it back with just under 7 minutes to play in the first half. Remember, we're doing this with the, well, I'm looking, I think maybe they got the clock working now. Well, yeah, they did. The play clock is working, and if it is, the horn blew. And that's going to be a delay of game.
They take a delay of game on a kicking play right there. Again, that's just as bad as jumping off sides or illegal procedure, which they had the last time that they were out there punting the football. You know, that stuff's got to be cleaned up. The semifinal game, you shouldn't be having those issues right now, and I'm sure Wayne Reese will address that at halftime in the locker room.
Big rush, just got it off. And it may have been deflected. It may have been he had to rush that punt. And it is going to roll dead just on the Roneagles side of the 50-yard line, about the 49.5-yard line. I'm not sure in this weather, and we couldn't see if we can see on the replay if somebody got a hand on it or it just tipped it or deflected it.
It was real close. It doesn't look like they got a hand on it. He just shanked the ball off his foot, but it's going to set Jennings up in McDonogh 35, Mac 35 territory right at about the 49-yard line. Great field position for the Bulldogs.
So with a 1-point lead, 7-6, the Bulldogs have great field position, as Wade just said, and boy, just not fooling anybody as McDonogh 35 is playing defense well on that split back veer running game. And Jalen Lewis just nowhere to go on the last carry, the junior. He's got the speed, he's got the quickness, but you got a big defensive line right there for Mac 35.
Well, Mac 35 sitting in their 4-man front. They're also a 4-2-5 defense.
Quick pass, and they've got Jacorian Palfrey, again, who's been so quiet, but when they go to him, big things happen. Larry Romanik brought him down, but that's enough for the first down, and that's one thing Jennings has to do, is they've got to get Jacorian Palfrey into this game, into this offense. 2 passes, and one was a score, and the other one, boom.
Well, they gave Palfrey a lot of room out there, so they were taking what they were being given. Romanik playing close to 12 yards off in his corner position, so it's easy pitch and catch. Snap the ball, pick up, throw the ball out there on a little short, quick hitch, pick up first down.
First and 10 for the Bulldogs, driving on 35. And this is just straight ahead, and look at that drive by Trevor Ishan. Oh my goodness, that was just power running before Rashad Foley could finally put it into the play.
They're going to run the inside veer. There's the read on the defensive end. Right, the inside veer hitting spot for that is right off the hip of the guard to the side of the run. The end had a long way to come down right there, and he was just kind of soft as he was coming down to the hit point, so it was an easy read for Bub Wilridge to be able to give that ball off to Ashian.
Boy, he worked hard for those 7 yards. 2nd down, 3. And this time, The give to Jalen Lewis, and he's got the first down.
You know, one of the things about everybody in the Lake Charles area, southwest Louisiana area, they always use that quick set and go type of, I guess you would say, offensive preset. Offensive linemen backs come up, they get really quickly set, and then they snap the ball. I used to yell for years when we would have teams from southwest Louisiana come in and play us that was almost illegal procedure from the standpoint that they were not set for a second.
Well, part of the 1-2 punch. There they go again. This time it's Trevor Ashan again, and he has a bunch. Making it second and short.
Ashan runs off tackle that time, but look at the block by Jalen Lewis. See if we can get it on our replay. You'll see Jalen Lewis leading, and there's the block right there on the defensive end from McDonogh 35. Great block, and it allows Trevor Ashan to get up inside underneath and pick up valuable yardage.
Second and a long 3. And this time back to Jalen Lewis. Lewis tries the left side, but he's shut down.
They run the counter, and it's real close to the first down.
David Ellis on the stop. But it's going to be third down.
There's the counter play, kick out, seal right there. It's going to be third down. He was close, but they didn't get the yard to make.
It's going to be third and about 3 as they mark that back. And watch Palfrey now. Jacorian Palfrey up at the top of your screen. He's looking that way. He sees him. He's got him. Palfrey turns. Palfrey's got the first down and more. Fighting for the goal line. Palfrey just held out of the end zone. Oh, it's so close. That's Jacorian Palfrey.
Again, a lot of room left up top for Jacorian Palfrey, so they stand up and throw the quick hitch out there to him. A lot of cushion out there by Larry Romanik. Larry Romanik now tightened down to about 8 yards, but that's a lot of room. You can see him backpedaling off to about 12, and all that does is that leaves room right there for Palfrey to be able to catch the ball and get his shoulder pads north and south and get almost into the end zone, stop short just about the 1 yard line.
Yeah, 15-yard gain. Now you've got a big, gigantic 1-2 punch. You can give it to Trevor Ashan. You can give it to Jalen Lewis. Let's see who gets the call to pound it right into that line. They're both backs in the backfield, and they're going to try Lewis on this one. Not sure if it was a clean handoff. Yeah, it's a stop. Didn't get it. Didn't look clean. Wasn't fumbled, but it just didn't look like a real clean handoff on that one. So that'll bring up
They take the
second and go.
Roneagles take their defensive end, Tariq Jones, and they slant him down inside. They pinch him down inside in the C gap, and that should have been a pull by the quarterback right there. That's one thing we haven't seen tonight off of the veer. We have not seen the quarterback Armstrong, Wilridge, pull that ball yet on the veer option.
Lewis and Ashan, this will just be a quarterback sneak. He'll just push it right through. Touchdown, Lawrence Wilridge into the end zone for the score.
Can you see how fast they get set and then they go?
Boom.
Watch. If we can see this on our replay, watch this. Watch everybody get set, go. Get set, go. Get set, go. I used to scream about that all the time as a coach when teams from southwest Louisiana would come into our place and play, or we'd have to go to their place and play. I knew I was never going to get a call there. But I almost said they're not set for a second. They're not set for a second. They're not set for a second. You got to be set for a second. Right there, it's a very fine line, but it's something that you see all teams in southwest Louisiana do.
Ian Mullen kicks his 49th extra point in 58 attempts this year. It is good. And the score with a minute 20 to play in the first half is 14-6. 14-6. Jennings leading McDonogh 35.
And Kenny, I'm going to say one more thing about that quick shift and go. All right, it was started by a perennial powerhouse in southwest Louisiana in the Lafayette area. Do you know what team that was? Coached by Bill Dotson. Acadiana, who's tonight playing, if I can get you that score, over in the Lafayette area, Acadiana and Zachary, 14-0 Acadiana in the second quarter.
As a matter of fact, in the 20 years of, seedings started in 1999. Now we're in 2019 with the seedings. I want to say, let's see if I can find it. I thought I had it here somewhere. Acadiana, I believe, is one of the highest seeds to ever go out and play in the state championship game. Is a 27th seed. I'm pretty sure I've got that one correct. Whip kick, and it's on the ground. This might turn into a long onside kick. Turned out to be a swip kick, and let's see who's got it. They're going to have to unstack this pile as rain starts coming down again at Pan American Stadium.
Did you order this weather?
Wow. I mean, it stopped. I thought the clouds had passed us by, but now there's more rain coming down. Goodness.
Got a score over from Turchin Stadium. Catholic High Baton Rouge 3, Archbishop Rummel nothing.
Where at?
At Turchin Stadium.
No, I mean, we're in the game.
Oh, I'm sorry, in the second quarter.
Wow, second quarter.
3-0. Good defensive football game by two defensive teams. We got a score from the second quarter from St. James. St. James is still up 7-6 on Union Parish. That's who the winner here tonight will meet in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome next week in the State 3A Finals.
From the 36. Out of the go. Oh, big hole on the quarterback keeper all the way, and that is Armstrong, Manuel Armstrong, and he'll run it very close to the first down. Let's see if they mark him and where he stepped out of bounds on the far side.
Very nicely drawn up. Look at the draw scheme. All of the Jennings Bulldogs drawn up the field, and what does Armstrong do? Steps right up in the hole. That was a drawn-up quarterback draw, and he gets close. Right, he gets 2 yards short of the first down.
Yes, it is.
So not bad. And again, the rain comes down hard here at Pan American Stadium in New Orleans in this semifinal game in 3A between the McDonogh 35 Roneagles and the Jennings Bulldogs. Jennings in control right now, 14-6.
At their own going.
And I got to tell you, the guy who's made it happen, Jacorian. Once they get him involved and got him involved in this offense, great things have happened. And here's a little toss out to the right side. Raymond Foreman. And Foreman finally brought down by Trevor Bashan, playing both ways in this game, offensively and defensively, but they moved the chains and got the first down with the game.
Raymond Foreman runs a little two route out of the backfield, what they call a two route, which is a flat route, and he is wide open. The linebacker did not go and cover him. It was an easy throw and pitch for Armstrong to Foreman to pick up the first down.
Armstrong with one protector, one back beside him. We'll throw it quick left side. It's batted up and incomplete. Intended for Claudel McDonald.
Broken up nicely by the Jennings defender. You can see they're trying to run the little hook route behind the linebacker.
Demarion Simon broke it up.
And the ball is broken up nicely right there. Great defensive play right there by the Jennings Bulldogs.
Second down 10. They're working against the clock now. Just under a minute to play in the half. 59 seconds and 48 yards away from the end zone. Little fake. Here comes the rush. Tossed it out to Stephen Williams, and it was a forward pass. Stephen Williams was in front of the quarterback Manuel Armstrong, so
he wasn't in front by much. Right?
It was close.
So it was really close. I think he throws it at the feet of Stephen Williams because it's defended well right there, and
pressure was coming.
Right, the pressure was there, but that was close.
53 seconds remain in this first half. Third down 10 for McDonogh 35, trailing by 8, trailing 14-6 to the Bulldogs of Jennings. They'll shift Steveland out to the right side. Throw instead to the left side. This will get some yardage, but no, not even close to the first down as it was completed to Dwayne Dales and stopped by Trevor Ashan. What does that young man do? Everything offensively and defensively?
Oh, it's the state semifinals. You're going to have to put your best players on the field, and they're going to have to be spent when it's all over. So, there's no looking back, as we said 3 weeks ago when we started this playoff journey. There's no looking back. You've got to be able to put your best players on the field.
Timeout. And it gives us an opportunity to remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Gills Bar. For more than half a century, offering services, solutions, and support for businesses and associations looking for happier constituents and healthier bottom lines. And headquartered on the North Shore. To learn more on how Gills Bar can help your business, visit gillsbar.com. Well, you look at what this young man has done, Trevor Hashan, and he's only a sophomore. And, of course, Travis, his brother, up at the Clemson, and I know they pronounce it a little differently now on ESPN and the broadcast and the networks, and up there they'll say Etienne or Etienne. But in South Louisiana, they still say Eshun. Or Eshan would be the more correct pronunciation of it. And he's playing offense and defense, and a couple of great stories we'll try to pass on to you about his relationship with his brother, hopefully watching tonight on the stream. Timeout called by the Jennings Bulldogs, and that gives us maybe an opportunity to tell one. Coach Rusty Phelps said that Travis will text him a lot of times after a game on a Friday night and say, hey, man, how'd Trevor do? How'd little brother do? And what did he score? What did he gain? Because whatever he scored and he gained, I've got to do a little bit better than that. They have a real brotherly love but intense competition between the two, and they have a lot of fun with that. So, hey, Travis, if you're listening, I don't know how you're going to get on defense and do what Trevor is doing tonight, but, hey, right. You never know.
Well, I don't think they're going to see him tomorrow on defense.
Dabo's not putting you in on defense, brother.
Well, maybe he can go make a play, but I don't think that's going to happen. But but he is a special athlete, and that's the reason why they've got to play him both ways, and that's why they see in a couple of the better athletes tonight for both teams playing both ways.
Fourth down and about 7. Danuel Armstrong taking a lot of time. The play clock is working again now. Armstrong with nobody to throw to. He'll scramble in. He will throw it long down the field, and it's dropped. Backpedaling, trying to grab it. Rayshad Bester couldn't pull it in.
Rayshad Bester was behind the defender.
Yeah.
The ball was just not thrown far enough for him to be able to make a play on the ball. He had to almost stop in his tracks to come back to make the play. Watch Armstrong.
Pressure. He got flushed.
He gets pressured. He gets flushed, but there's just not enough arm to get it there. You can see the defender at the last second is trying to make up the ground, but the ball was just underthrown to Bester, who could have probably have caught in that and walked into the end zone.
And instead, the Roneagles turned the ball over on downs. That was fourth down, and with 36 seconds and a 14-6 lead, the Jennings Bulldogs have the football at their own 44-yard line. Do you get fancy here, or do you take your lead into the halftime locker room?
You take your lead into the halftime locker room.
And that's what he's going to do. Nothing fancy. He hands off to Trevor Eshen, and he will run over the right side, and the clock running down 24-23, and let's stop it at 24.
That is the second short of the first half, followed by the Bulldogs.
Jennings Bulldog timeout. They have one remaining with 24 seconds. They've got the ball out now, close to midfield.
They might take a shot right here, just throw it down the field, maybe get a interference penalty or something.
They've got Jacory and Palfrey.
Right. I mean, that again, that's not their MO. So, take one shot maybe. You've got the ball where you need to have it right here at midfield, and we'll see what happens.
Palfrey's a story that you had much like one you had when you were coaching at Jesuit. They discovered him. He'd not played any football, not even pickup football, not even tossed the football with friends in the backyard. Started working out with the football team just to get in condition. Said, I like this sport, Coach. Can I try it? And Rusty Phelps says, my goodness, this kid's got size. He's got hands. He's got speed. Good things happen. And this year is his very first year of playing any type of football, and he's a superstar. Louisiana Tech stopped by on a recruiting thing and said, where you been hiding this kid? He says he's never played before. Incomplete pass to Jacarian Palfrey with 21 seconds left now in the half. But that's a heck of a story. Think about that. He said, look, I didn't even play. I didn't even throw football with friends in the backyard. I was all basketball.
Or they're trying to set up a trick play right here with the hook and lateral. The ball's just too high to Palfrey. You can see the back coming out of the backfield right there. If he would have caught the ball, he would have tried to toss the ball backwards with the old hook and lateral button hook, whatever you want to call the route. Just the ball's a little too high. Palfrey is an interesting story. He's got 621 yards coming in tonight and 8 touchdowns.
Now they'll just hand it off, see if they can pop something up the middle. They do cross the 50, but not much more for Jalen Lewis. Ashton Jones on the tackle.
They ran the counter that we had seen earlier in the game. We've seen about 4 or 5 times in the first and second quarter, just trying to pop it up. The clock's going to run out, and that's going to be it for the first half.
Yeah. They're going to let it go. They'll come to the line of scrimmage. I don't think that the Bulldogs want to get another play off. Let's see. They can. Yeah, they're going to try it with 2 seconds. They get the quick snap, quick throw, but it's too high for Palfrey.
Trying the button hook again or the hook and lateral. Same thing.
Tried to get it going just on the last minute, but it's not going to work. But still, a good first half for both teams and a better one for the Bulldogs because they have the 14-6 lead over the McDonogh 35 Roneagles, and we are at halftime in this game. So let me take the moment to remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Gills Bar. For more than a half-century, offering services, solutions, and support for businesses and associations looking for happier constituents and healthier bottom lines. And headquartered on the North Shore. To learn more on how Gills Bar can help your business, visit gillsbar.com. Ken Berthelot, Wade Kaiser, and we are here at Pan American Stadium where we've had weather, absolutely horrible sight lines, but you know what? It's fun watching these two teams play because they are so explosive. We have not been disappointed by the play of Trevor Ashan, the little brother of Travis Etienne, pronounced Etienne, everywhere else in the country, but in South Louisiana where we say Trevor Ashan. But Jacorian Palfrey and Trevor and Jalen Lewis have put on a little bit of a show. You've got two very good football teams here, and it's made a difference. The scoring started with McDonogh 35 on a 34-yard touchdown. Ashton Jones with a beautiful run, but the point was missed, and again, not much of a kicking game by McDonogh 35, so, and as Wade Kaiser said, they probably shouldn't attempt to fake the kick and then go for the points, just go for 2 at the line. They've got a pretty good pass-catch combination, and they haven't been able to use it, but they had a 6-0 lead after the missed extra point, and at that time, Jennings came right back down the field. They used Palfrey, and Palfrey took it for a touchdown, kicked the point 7-6. At that point, Jennings with the lead, and then Terry Williams on the ensuing kickoff returned it for a touchdown close to 65 yards in that vicinity. Don't have the exact yardage on that. And it was called back for penalty. And after that, it's almost as if McDonogh 35 couldn't recover. They did move the ball a little bit, but couldn't really sustain or get anything going after that, and were plagued by some penalties, silly penalties. At one time, 3 illegal procedure penalties back-to-back cost them 15 yards on a punt. They would have been backing Jennings up near their own goal line, and instead allowed the Bulldogs to get pretty good field position, and they used it down the road, moving that ball on a great pass once again to Jacorian Palfrey, who took it down to the 1-yard line, and after a couple of tries by the backs, Trevor Ashan and Jalen Lewis couldn't get it in. They just used the old quarterback sneak with Lawrence Wilridge, and he pushed it through. Point was good, 14-6, and that's where we stand at halftime. Both teams trying to earn the right to advance to the state championship game of the Louisiana Superdome next week, and right now the Bulldogs are in the driver's seat. This means a lot to both teams. 24 years at the helm of Jennings, and Coach Rusty Phelps would like to get that first state championship. He's had some great teams. They have gone deep into the playoffs time after time. but he hasn't been able to get into that state championship game and make that happen yet. They have won 2 state championships at Jennings, but they was way back in 1939 and 1992. 92, the coach was Matt Viator, who went on to Sulphur and then was the head coach at McNeese, and now Northeast Louisiana. And boy, I tell you, the Bulldogs feel like this year and next year are their best chances. They are loaded, and losing almost no one off this team. They are going to be loaded for bear next year. For McDonogh 35, they have a solid team, real good. Got a lot of kids coming back next year, but this is the year for them. They want this to be the year they get Wayne Reese into the state championship game. 75 years old, 255 career wins for Wayne Reese at Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver, where he coached Marshall Falk, Washington, Marion, and Lake Charles, and now at McDonogh 35. But through all of that time, through all of those years, he's never been to the state championship game and had the chance to win all the marbles. And I think this team came out really fired up. And I'm going to tell you, Wade, for some reason, after the penalty that nullified the kickoff return for a touchdown, it just didn't seem to be the same team. Now, played much of the first half in an absolute pouring rain. I mean, just a big old thunderstorm. Stopped for a little while, came back toward the end of the first half. Right now, it is not raining. Umbrellas are put back down and back into the umbrella cases and holders. Don't know if we're going to have any more rain for the rest of this game, but that seemed to just take the air out of the balloon of this McDonogh 35 Roneagle team.
Well, it's you know, they've made a bunch of mistakes with the penalties and things of that nature, and that's what's being addressed right now in the locker room, I'm sure. Let me go through some scores that we have here at halftime around the state. We've got over on the other side of town at Turchin Stadium in a defensive battle at halftime. Catholic High Baton Rouge and Archbishop Rummel are in a Donnybrook 3-0 at halftime. De La Salle, St. Thomas More up 27-3. In the second quarter, Acadiana up 21-7 on Zachary in that semifinal game. In the other semifinal game in 5A, Destrehan up 13-10 at halftime. Over in Lakeshore, get this score, Kenny. Warren Easton 28, Lakeshore 21. Lakeshore brings in a terrific football team into their semifinal game, and they're down 7 in the second quarter.
Wait, they're the top seed.
So number one.
You're looking at the top seed, and Warren Easton is, we checked their seeding. You know what? I had the seeding on Warren Easton, and I kind of lost it, but they're, wow. That's pretty impressive right there.
That's an impressive score right there.
Number 20. Warren Easton is seeded 20th. Lakeshore is the top seed. And wow, what a big win that would be for Jerry Phillips' program.
Well, still a lot of time to go in that, just second quarter. Don't know if that's a halftime score yet or not. It hasn't been updated. Edna Carr down by 1 point to Neville, 21-20 in their semifinal game up at Neville. The game that is of most importance to the folks playing here tonight, because they will have the winner of this 3A semifinal over in St. James Parish at halftime. St. James is 13, Union Parish 6. Halftime, McDonogh 35, 6, and Jennings right here 14 with a great football game going on. And then, of course, Amite Faraday 14-14 tied at halftime. Kentwood, Manny up 17-7 on Kentwood at halftime. White Castle Oberlin, White Castle up 22-12 in the second quarter. Logansport down by 20 points to Oak Grove, up in Oak Grove in the second quarter. Tomorrow will be St. Charles Catholic versus Lafayette Christian in their state final game. That's going to be held at UL Raging Cajun Field.
UL Lafayette Raging Cajun Field, right? If Jennings holds on to win this game, they will be the first team since seedings began in 1999 to beat 4 top 10 seeds to get to the Dome, and that would be very, very special for Rusty Phelps and this Jennings Bulldog team. And of course, we've already said that if McDonogh 35 was to come back and win this game, it would be the first time in the history, some 40 years, 4 decades plus of Wayne Reese, 255 wins, that'd be his first trip to a state championship game. So, and I think the Roneagles came out pretty fired up, and I still think that that interception, the penalty on the kickoff return for a touchdown just took the wind out of their sails. So while we at halftime, and before I throw in another little commercial for everybody, I'll throw a trivia question out to you. If you can answer it, go ahead. What is a Ron Eagle? And how did McDonogh 35 get its nickname? Because a number of people asked me that coming in here tonight.
I'm going to let you tell that story, Ken. That's one that I'm afraid if I started telling it, I might get it wrong.
Well, I'll tell you how. Back in the day when I was at WVUE TV Channel 8, we were doing features on high school teams, and one of the photographers who was working with me on a feature on McDonogh 35 was named Kevin Henry. He was an alum, and he was on the first football team that McDonogh 35 ever fielded, and they only had 13 players. And their coach told them, "You're not coming out of the game unless you really have to. You break a leg, go out there and gimp your way through the rest of the game. You break an ankle, well, let it dangle, but you're not coming out. You guys have to be Iron Eagles." And for the next few years, they were the McDonogh 35 Iron Eagles. But slang being what it is, and yat, New Orleans yat, and you drop the Iron Eagle cheer and the fans cheer through the years, as people would say Iron Eagles, the I would kind of get dropped just for shortness and simplicity, and it would kind of be Ron Eagles, and Ron Eagles is what came out of it and stuck, and they, through the years, became McDonogh 35 Ron Eagles. And we did a little television feature on that, and it's kind of cute. And the funny part about that is how many people in these later years come up with a story on why they're the Ron Eagles. Somebody named Ron who was a great player, and they wanted to be the Ron Eagles. And you would be shocked at it. And people people who know the story chuckle at it today. Okay, enough trivia. And I hope that answers the question on why the old Iron Eagles are now very simply the Ron Eagles, and they're happy with that.
Well, I'm glad you can tell that story, because I can't. Nobody tells it as good as you.
I want to remind everybody that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is presented by EO College Inn and Rock and Bowl. College Inn, a true New Orleans farm-to-table restaurant, open Tuesday through Saturday for dinner, and it is the home of the New Orleans Prep Sports Hall of Fame. Ron Bricata does such a great job with that. It is fantastic. So here we are at halftime, and what adjustments now do both teams make after what's happened in the first half?
Well, I mean, really offensively, neither team is going to make an adjustment because they're able to move the ball with their running game. I'd like to see McDonogh 35 get the ball out to their good wide receiver Palfrey, especially with all the cushion that they've been giving him during the this particular. I'm not Palfrey. I'm sorry. Their good wide receiver. Bester and Dales and McDonogh get the ball in their hands a little bit more with a little more play-action passes. The other thing McDonogh 35 is going to have to clean up here at halftime is the penalty situation, especially in the kicking game. Jennings is going to come out. They're not going to change. They're going to still run the ball offensively and try to play sound defensively and solid kicking game, which is what has gotten them into this position all year and has gotten them to where they were here in this semifinal game.
I know you gave everybody the high school scores, but Damien the PA announcer, just showed us he's watching one on his phone. Oregon just went up over Utah 17-0 in the second quarter.
That's going to have implications on what's going to go on around the nation as far as the top four seeds into the playoff for the national championship.
Schools like Oregon who can't get in can surely, with the number of losses they have now, can surely decide who does and doesn't go. And wow, in that Pac-12 over there, my goodness, what a stunning upset they have working, but it's still early. They're in the second quarter of that game, and we are at halftime here of a semifinal 3A non-select game at Pan American Stadium in New Orleans, and at halftime, the Jennings Bulldogs lead 14-6. 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points to 6 for the McDonogh 35 Ron Eagles. 14-6. McDonogh with a touchdown. McDonogh 35 with a touchdown and missed extra point. If it comes down to a kicking game situation, the advantage is all Jennings, because McDonogh 35 just does not have a field goal kicker with any consistency, and they lined up to kick the field goal after the swinging gate failed. They lined up and got penalized. They lined up to attempt the field goal and then just tried to fake it, where the holder got up and tried to throw it, and then he got smothered. So it's probably, as Wade said, better for McDonogh 35 just to line up at the 2 with a good passing game that they have, good running game that they have, and just try to pound it in for 2.
Well, score out of Lafayette. St. Thomas More has gone up 30-3 over De La Salle in that Division 2 final.
Wow. St. Thomas More just loaded.
Just loaded. One of the better football teams in the state.
You know, we saw them a little bit earlier, and they do so many things well. And look, De La Salle is no slouch. De La Salle, Ryan Manali has a great football team. And boy, for St. Thomas More to have that kind of a lead just shows what type of a powerhouse football team they have. Any other updates on scores?
Most games at halftime, as we just went through them, still 3-0 Catholic over Archbishop Rummel. Acadiana 21-7 over Zachary in that semifinal. And the other 5A semifinal, Destrehan still 13-10 over Houghton. Warren Easton still up 28-21 at halftime over the first-seeded Lakeshore.
Well, it's really, it's not the fact that Warren Easton has the lead. It's the fact that Warren Easton put up 28 points on Lakeshore, and because I know Warren Easton, I think everybody knows Warren Easton's got a solid football team, a really good football team, but they are just scoring at will up there, and that's pretty doggone good. I want to remind everybody that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Gibbs Construction, a leader in the construction industry in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast. And they've been a leader for more than 35 years. Gibbs Construction, transforming dreams, visions, and plans into reality. Gibbs Construction, thank you, Gibby, for your sponsorship of prep football on Crescent City Sports. Wade Kaiser, Ken Berthelot, we enjoyed doing this game. Pan American Stadium here in New Orleans, right on the edge of City Park. And beautiful City Park where they've got the light display up. And saw some of the people from Jennings hoping to be able to ride through that tonight before they either head back. If Jennings wins this one, they might just be tailgating and never get there. Well, and enjoying this one as they get set for next week.
Well, their people, their fans will be able to go enjoy that, but I know the winner of this game will be going to work tomorrow morning. The head coach will have to go to Baton Rouge to be able to pick up a packet of tickets and Superdome information from the LHSAA while his staff goes to work on film getting ready for the state final.
Chip Merritt with us in here, and boy, Rick Thompson, our spotter, doing a yeoman's job. Really appreciate the job he does.
Do what we do and take care of our business. Take care of business and we will.
And Matt Merritt, our cameraman out there, in the rain. In the rain, just stood out there like a trooper. Got soaking wet, covered up a little bit, protected the camera so we could bring you the pictures of this one. And boy, this is one we would have loved to do with the full television broadcast, but could not make that happen. But at least we're able to bring you the stream. And again, if you're some of the people watching in Charlotte, North Carolina tonight, you will be proud of Trevor, as you would say it, and most of the nation now says it, ATN. But down here in South Louisiana, Trevor Eshand. And he's only a sophomore. And he's already got an offer. He's already got 3 offers. He's got offers from at LSU, Texas A&M, and I believe Clemson's in there too. Actually, it's in South Carolina, plus others, but those are the biggies. Already offered from, again, LSU quickly, South Carolina, Clemson, Texas A&M is just offering everybody in South Louisiana. They're out recruiting this area as hard as they recruit Texas. So we're just about ready to go, and with the 14-6 lead, guess what? The Bulldogs get the football to start the second half, and good news for both teams, the rain has stopped. and it stopped almost at the end of or right before the end of the first half. So let's see if we can get the second half of this football game in without any more rain, which would be nice.
All right, Ronnie Nation, here you go. You play the first half to get to the second half. The winner tonight.
Everybody up close expecting either a squib kick or an onside kick, which McDonogh 35 tried earlier, but they will send this one deep, and it comes down into the hands of Connor Cassidy, and Cassidy is brought down at the 20-yard line.
Well, the Bulldogs going to take it over at the 20-yard line. Again, don't look for them to come out and do anything differently offensively from what took place in the first half. They're going to run their veer offense, their split back power off tackle. They'll run the little counter, and every now and then they're going to pick the ball up and throw it out to their receiver, Jacorian Palfrey, who apparently McDonogh 35 has been given a lot of cushion to out there at that wide receiver position.
Well, you know, he's got great height. He's 6'2", 200, a junior, and he doesn't look like a player who has never played football, any type of organized football before this year. They're going to toss it back to him. And a flag goes down. Is Palfrey, is that Palfrey on the carry? I believe it is. Yes, it is. So Jacorian Palfrey will run the football too, and they toss it back to him and let him run, but this one might be coming back. Let's see.
They got motion. It's going to take them back 5 yards from the previous spot. Somebody was leaning as the back was in motion into the backfield from his wing position.
Chad Velo is our official. This is the Lafayette Association, 17 state titles, a very experienced crew, and 171 years of experience on the field. We talked about that before the game. Great crew, and they've called a fantastic game here. Been absolutely no problems, no questions. And you got to have the best crews in big games like this. So after the penalty, we'll do first down again. They'll toss it back to Ashen, and he's run out of bounds on the far side.
Toss sweep right there, getting the ball in the hands of Ashen, trying to get him outside on the edge to allow him to use his speed. You can see the pitch back off the lead option right there. That's new. That's something we haven't seen in the first half. They're going to lead with the one running back and pitch it back to the other one running back as they're reading the last man on the line of scrimmage. It actually becomes a double option rather than a triple option.
Well, he got 4 of the 5 penalty yards back, so make it second down and 11 at the 20-yard line. We'll keep it on the ground. They give it this time to Lewis. Lewis turns the corner. He's got some speed, but will be tackled short of the first down.
David Raines comes up from his safety position and really lays a hit right there on Lewis. Lewis bouncing the sweep outside that nice running room, and he was dropped flat by Raines as he was flying up from his safety position.
But he made it third down and short, third down and 4. So that's manageable for the Bulldogs, but they probably would like to move those chains. You don't want to come out and, because of that penalty, have to pump that ball away to McDonogh 35 and let them gain some momentum if you're a Bulldog here. So this is an important third down,
third and
to
4,
keep that ball.
3rd and 4 on Rusty Phelps call sheets run. Not like that,
look
though.
out. Yeah.
Not like that, though. You're going to get penalty right there. Somebody jumps the gun, looks like the left guard.
And that penalty is against the Bulldogs.
And that'll be now third down and 9.
It will remain third down the Bulldogs.
I think they got number 52, Maverick Broussard, just moving a little bit too soon right there.
This offensive line is all new this year. They had one returner coming back, and they lost him after the first few games to an injury. But this line has come together and given new quarterback Lawrence Wilridge, Bub Wilridge, a lot of protection and done a real good job. And Wilridge will throw quickly. He's got a man, and Jacorian Palfrey couldn't hold it. Wow.
Well, running with him out there was the corner, Jamari Henderson. You can see they try to run just a straight drop back with a go route. And you can see Palfrey's got a step, but there comes the safety coming across the top to make a nice play right there.
So that'll bring up 4th down and 9, deep in their own territory. So you'll have 2 backs. Jamarian Henderson and Claudel McDonald are back, and now flags are thrown from way back near where the receivers, where the punt receivers would be. Now let's see what this one's all about.
It's going to be too many men on the field. Yeah. Illegal substitution.
I think so.
Probably had 12 people on the field. Didn't get their kicking personnel on the field, their kick return, punt return personnel on the field. Had too many on the field, so that's going to be a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot.
I think when Henderson came on as the second receiver, nobody ran off, and they got it. So that makes it 4th down and 4. High snap, but not much of a rush. And it'll be a short punt, but get a great Jennings roll, and they will just let it roll. They'll get about 15 yards extra on this roll, which is blown dead at the 36-yard line of McDonogh 35. So with 9:55 to play in the 3rd quarter, the Roneagles trailing 14-6. They have the football in their own territory at the 36-yard line.
By letting that ball drop like that, that's hidden yardage for Jennings that helps their cause. You've got to catch that football. That's why you use the fair catch. I say it every time. I know I'm harping on it, but those are the things you've got to be able to do, to walk up and catch that ball in traffic, to keep the ball from bouncing and going another 15 or 20 yards and giving your opponent those hidden yards in the kicking game.
Taj Johnson also in the backfield now. We haven't seen too much of Taj Johnson, a senior. Fullback and defensive back, and McDonogh 35 has him now in the backfield offensively. One thing that I think Jennings' defense has been able to do, and for the most part, they have kept Steveland Williams in check. Now, he's had a couple of plays, and good players are going to have a couple of plays where they bust some big yardage, but it hasn't happened that much, which is important for a defense.
Well, they've got to keep running them, and I'd like to see him use some play-action passes, maybe get the ball into his hands out into the flats or into the little option routes.
All right, they moved the ball. They penalized them back. And now you got 1st and 10. They move the chains, move the 1st down marker, and we're ready to go from the 36. Actually, there was no penalty. They just had everything spotted wrong. Now they got the spot correct. They'll try a play, and absolutely nowhere to go for Steveland Williams. Nowhere to go as Jaden Sagne shut it down quickly.
Jaden Sagne gave him nowhere to go from his defensive end position. Squeezed right down the line of scrimmage, playing the piano, which you call getting off of blocks with your hands and tapping your feet and making a nice play right there on Steveland Williams. We've got an update from the St. James Parish, Kenny, in that semifinal game over there, which is important for everything here. Union Parish has just taken the lead, 14-13.
Winner of this game tonight will meet the winner of that game, and right now it's Union Parish. Steveland again after the fake to Taj Johnson, and he'll come around the near side. And do we have a flag thrown? No, it's a no call there. Everybody was given the old throw the flag. It happened in front of the McDonogh 35 bench, and with our angle, I couldn't see what happened. Wait, let's see if we can see it on replay.
Well, I mean, it kind of like it was. He gets driven out of bounds right there, and he stops and he falls. I don't think there was really any rough play. You can see the guys in white right there let go of him right there at the white line and walk away from it. So I didn't see any penalty.
Well, a big 3rd down and 7 at the 41-yard line. Armstrong back, and he throws over the middle, caught in a crowd. That is a great catch that time by Claudel McDonald, as he had to go up in the air, spinning around, pulled it down at the 45-yard line, but hold everything, a flag on the play.
You're going to get a holding penalty right there. Great throw right there by Armstrong, great catch by McDonald, but that's coming back. You're going to have a holding penalty somewhere in the interior line. Looks like the center possibly is, oh my goodness, that's a 2-point takedown in any wrestling league. And maybe in the WWF, that would have been like a bar hold or something coming off of the top rope.
Yeah, well, wasn't any question about that one, was it? And it wipes out a first down when the Roneagles needed it very badly, and it moves the football back inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Still third down. A long way to go. And here's the throw over the middle. Very dangerous, incomplete, intended for Dwayne Dales. And boy, I'll tell you, there were a couple of white jerseys close that couldn't get a beat on it. And that'll bring up fourth down for the Roneagles. So both teams, on their opening possessions of the second half, are forced to punt the football away from their own territory.
Mac 35 motioned out of the backfield, went empty, hoping to get a linebacker out of the box so they could throw the ball by where the vacated linebacker would be. Jennings doesn't move the linebacker. They just move the safety and go to a too-high safety right there. Nice adjustment by Jennings on that particular motion.
Well, this is a line drive. Punt's going to get a little bit of a Mac 35 roll and be blown dead at the 41-yard line. A 31-yard punt, and the Jennings Bulldogs have the ball at their own 41 with 7:47 to play in the third quarter.
So if you look at that series, Kenny, right there, what was it hampered by? It was hampered a first down taken off of the board. Great catch, great throw by another penalty. How many penalties tonight by Mac 35, whether in the kicking game or in crucial third down situations, has put them, kind of behind the 8 ball?
Well, that's the at least third, because one of them wiped out the kickoff return for a touchdown.
Right.
And how much does that hurt? Jalen Lewis almost for a first down, for 9 yards on first down. And, man, if they continue to spring him, and that's what happens a lot of times, they'll key on Trevor Aishan, and that'll free Jalen Lewis, and then they'll all of a sudden key on Lewis, and boom, that opens up Aishan.
Well, they're definitely a 1-2 punch. One comes in with 1,627 yards. That's Aishan. And then Lewis comes in with 1,408 yards.
Look at Aishan. Breaks a tackle, breaks another. Now he turns it to the outside. Look at him go. They can't bring him down. And he finally gets pushed out of bounds. Aishan with a big run, finally pushed out by David Raines.
David Raines was lucky right there. He took him out at the last second. Otherwise, Aishan would have gone. They run the power off tackle. He gets in there, gives a nice little dead leg move, and bounces to the outside. Look at him turn on the Jets right here. Bad angles by the Roneagles. You can see the angles are kind of poor. They're in a trail position right there. It was lucky that James got over there to be able to knock him out of bounds.
34-yard gain on that play. Not much on first down to follow, but right now, in the driver's seat is the Bulldogs of Jennings. This time they run Jalen Lewis.
Well, we said all night long that the Veer split-back offense is like taking body punches in the ring, and that's what they're doing right now. They're just delivering body punch after body punch, because when they would get into the fourth quarter, that's where they want the guys on defense bending over and with their hands on their knees, because those guys have been taking all these body blows with the Veer, the off-tackle power, and things of that nature out of that split-back offense.
Jacorian Palfrey up at the top of your screen. He was looking that way, but the rush too much, and they got him in there and sacked him. Wow, big sack by Tariq Jones.
Tariq Jones does a great job right there. He's kind of left unblocked. You'll see on our replay, watch him come off of the top of your screen on Jennings' left. Nobody touches him. Nobody's there. Comes in there and he just bangs up the quarterback and puts Bub Wilridge on his back.
It's a 3-yard sack out of that.
This Tariq Jones, 6'1", 200 pounds, junior. He's active. He's all over the place. He's a hard man to block.
Bring up third down and 14 for Jennings. Third down and 14 at the Roneagles 28-yard line. Little reverse. Here goes Jacorian Palfrey. Turns the corner. He's got the first down and finally spun around out of bounds. But what a run by Jacorian Palfrey, brought down by Simmons.
Nice play. I like the setup up there. I like the call right there. You can see the Z reverse Palfrey's lined up at the Z receiver right there off the line of scrimmage. They're running everything to the left. They toss the ball back to him going right, and he's off to the races. I do like the call. I like the setup, and it's blocked real well how they pull the offensive lineman out there and get out in front of him.
First down from the 10. Not much there as the Roneagles are able to close the door as they don't give up much to Jalen Lewis. Second down goal. Inside
veer, I thought it was a poor read. I felt the quarterback should have pulled the ball right there. That's another thing we haven't seen tonight, Ken. We have not seen the quarterback run the football off of their veer option look when they are reading it triple option. Whether it's being outside veer or inside veer, quarterback is going to give the ball.
He's going to look for Palfrey on the fade in the left corner, and double coverage, well covered. Larry Roneagles the closest to him, the overthrow incomplete.
Roneagles has had his hands full tonight with Palfrey. Roneagles has done a nice job, but you can watch right here, 1, 2, 3 quick fade route, throwing it up in the air, trying to throw it in the bucket. Roneagles all over it, nice coverage right there by the Roneagles.
Now that'll bring up third down and goal. Now, one thing and one advantage that Jennings has is they have a real good field goal kicker. He's 3 of 5 on field goals, but as long as 35, he's got distance, and they're definitely in his range if they can't push this one through and they just want to add to the lead a little bit. Here's a rollout by Wildridge, and the pressure, he'll throw, and it's intercepted in the end zone. Coming back out. A spin, and the McDonogh 35, Roneagles with a big play.
I think we have a flag on the return. Let's see.
I believe that was Phil Simmons.
If it's post-possession, we'll see if the flag was thrown after the interception. There's the interception right there. And it looks like we might have could it be a face mask in there? Simmons does a nice job catching that ball right at the goal line, stepping in and pick that off.
Well, let's see. They're sorting all of this out now.
We didn't get to see our official. Let's see if we get the call. Well, I guess we don't have a call. They're marking it off against the Roneagles, so it must have been something that was post-possession. Let's see if we can see the replay. Here's the sprint out throwing to the right. You can see Williamson throwing into the end zone.
But it will still be first down for the Roneagles.
Oh, maybe a block in the back right there. Saw a block in the back right about the 5-yard line.
That is only the 4th interception this year by Wildridge, and comes at an inopportune time. However, it does not hurt, especially with the penalty. It doesn't hurt the Bulldogs because they still have the 14-6 lead, and right now, very careful. The McDonogh 35 Roneagles must be. Look at this bust up the middle by the Roneagles. Look out. Look out. All the way, Steveland Williams. Nobody's going to catch him to the end zone. Steveland Williams. Oh, the score.
I do not see a flag. I think that is going to hold up. What a burst of speed right there by Steveland Williams. He hits the middle of that thing, and he is gone.
98 yards.
I'm going to let the replay speak for itself. Look at him burst right here. Through 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders, and he's gone. It's like he's running a 100-meter dash, and he is going to extend and break the tape right here.
Well, again, with that no kicking game, will they try? They've got a kicker now, and it's been sporadic.
Just line up and go for 2, please.
He's going to line up and go for 2 because they need that to maybe tie this game. It's a 14-12 game. Looked like that the Jennings Bulldogs were going to go in and take a big lead, and instead, well, no, they got the swinging gate out to the left. Let's see. Well, there's the pass. They are going to. Is it good? No. Couldn't tip.
It was lateral back and thrown forward. As long as you throw it back, which is what the snap is, it's an underhand pass out of your swinging gate, and then it's thrown forward to the wide receiver, who was the last man on the line of scrimmage in the formation at the top of your screen. It was just overthrown, and the 2-point conversion fails.
Well, I'm with you. At this point, don't try the fancy stuff. Just line up, and you're finding ways to bust through the line sometimes, and you've got good receivers. You got a good passing game, but yeah, it's a 14-12 game. Didn't work. And once again, Jennings expecting a squib or onside kick, which McDonogh 35 tried in the first half, but were offside. Was successful, but were offside. So let's see if they might try it here. Nope, they're going to put a foot into it. Try Chambers with the kick. This one being returned, and not a bad return as he's still going. Trevian Eshen on the return gives the Bulldogs some pretty good field position here. We still have 4 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the third quarter.
Before we get going with the last 4 minutes, 20 seconds in the third quarter, Ken, an update from St. James. St. James has gone on top 19-14 over Union Parish. Again, that is who the winner of the McDonogh 35 Jennings game will get next week in Mercedes-Benz Superdome State Finals for AAA. Wow,
good field position, and good field position here for the Bulldogs at their own 43. Oh, fumble. Big scramble for it. Well, I thought it was dropped. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just Lewis going low and being hit. A little hard to tell with the sightlines again that we have right here in the crowd in front of us, but let's see now, second down, 10 after no gain. Oh, Rich, he's going to go long. Oh, it's caught and then dropped. He had it in his hands deep.
Sprints to his right and he throws back to his left. They're trying to run the same pass that we saw in the first half.
Trevian Ashen, no relation to Trevor Etienne Ashen. But man, he had his hands on it and couldn't pull it in.
Yeah, Roneagles Nation's third down.
Got to move a few people. Now we can see the field again, folks. Everybody's excited about this football game. On third down and 10, they'll try the sweep right on the pitch. And it's going to be close, but I think just a little bit short.
That's the second pitch tonight we've seen off the veer.
Ivory Williams.
Here we go. Quarterback's going to pull the ball right there. He got a pull read, and then he tosses it and pitches it back to his running back, Williams, right there, who comes up a little bit shy.
Well, actually, a little bit more. It looked like he was closer to the first down marker, but stepped out of bounds at the 49. So it's going to be fourth and longer than we thought. As he had stepped out of bounds, it looked like they were going to mark it first, very close to that first down marker, but he stepped out of bounds at the 49. So now you got fourth down in a ways. So you got to put your punt team on the field, protecting a 2-point lead with 3:39 to go in the third. Jamarian Henderson, a speedster in his own right. No rush at all. Wow. All day to get that punt off. And Henderson almost had it hit him. Wow. Very, very close.
That was almost a major mistake right there made by Jamarian Henderson. Number one, catch the ball. Number two, if you're not going to catch the ball, get away from it. Peter the ball. The term is Peter. Get away from the football so it doesn't take a wild bounce and hit you in the leg or the foot.
Which it almost did.
Which it could be recovered by the kicking team.
Man, that was close. Official was right on it. Had a good look at it. It did not hit him, but that's about as close as you can get, and very dangerous for McDonogh 35 to have had a turnover right there. 3:26 to go. Roneagles trailing by the extra points after both touchdowns. Now there was a flag on the play also, and it's going to move it deep to the Roneagle 11-yard line.
Another penalty setting them back. Again, deep in their own territory.
on first down from deep in their own territory. Of course, they busted it last time with this. Stephen Lynn Williams won't do it this time, though, however. And Stephen Lynn Williams for a few. You've got a couple of number 5s that can break a game open. They're game-changing players. The number 5 from McDonogh 35 is Stephen Lynn Williams, and the number 5 for the Jennings Bulldogs is Trevor Hishand, brother of Travis, and they pronounce it everywhere else around the country except in South Louisiana, Etienne. The Bulldogs in control, but the Roneagles, look at Stephen Williams bust through and still bounce off people and make something out of what looked like it might be a loss, and instead he moves the chains for a first down.
Stephen Williams keeps his feet moving. He's going to bounce. Watch him on the inside ISO right there. Runs into the back of his own offensive lineman, just keeps his feet moving, runs to daylight and bounces to the outside. Sign of a really solid running back.
We're getting close to the 2.5-minute mark. 2:38 in the third quarter. Armstrong, the quarterback, Danuel Armstrong. He'll hand it off, and they'll stay with Stephen Williams. Breaks tackles again, but not the second and third time. They got him, but still he puts his head down and gets something out of what looked like it was going to be no gain.
You come to the person that brought you to the dance. That's who you rely upon, as Stephen Williams. They're going to run him tonight until he can't run anymore. They run the ISO off-tackle play right there. Again, he keeps his feet moving, and he bounces off of bodies and tacklers, and he just keeps his legs moving and churns and picks up valuable yardage. You come with who brought you, and Stephen Williams is who got Wayne Reese and the McDonogh 35 Roneagles into this semifinal game.
2nd and 6 from the 27-yard line. On second down. Here's the give. They'll try that counter into the line and get a few. They're going to work that middle and try to bust their backs through as they've done before.
I think Jaden Saunier was the guy that brought him down right there. We've called his name a few times tonight for the Jennings Bulldogs defensive end. That's done a really nice job making plays off of the edge for the Bulldogs. Only a sophomore.
Let's see. Third down. 3rd down and 5. Let's see if Stephen Williams gets the call. McDonogh, good receiving back, is going to get the ball thrown toward him. And Claudel McDonogh can't gather it in. C.J. Woolridge covering, and that'll bring up 4th down. And the Roneagles will have to punt.
C.J. Williams just drops off the line of scrimmage from his outside linebacker position right here and just gets into the middle of the passing lane of the intended receiver, number 7, McDonogh. Ball's tapped down. Could have possibly been picked for 7.
McDonogh will punt the ball to Marcus Berry. Or pardon me, in this case, Ethan Mack. Ethan Mack on the return. Ethan Mack with a pretty good return gets the ball across the 50 and into Roneagle territory. And we have a Roneagle that looked like he was going to be down, but seems to be getting up and may be okay. Let's see. He may need some help. 49 seconds to play in the third quarter, and the Jennings Bulldogs with really good field position, protecting a 2-point lead, 14-12 for the right to move into the state championship game against the winner of Union Parish and St. James. Wade checking the scores now. Union Parish had just retaken the lead over St. James just moments ago. They're going to move it back to the 50, saying he stepped out or went down at the 50. So right at midfield, right at the 50.
Those are those hidden yardages right there on the punt return. That's why you catch the ball. That's why you catch the punt. So that way you can get those hidden yardage. Gives Jennings the ball first down right at midfield.
Woolridge at quarterback. Aishan and Lewis, the running backs. And the give this time to Jalen Lewis. And he just wiggles his way around for some positive yardage. Tyree Nelson with the tackle. Nearing the 30-second mark of the third quarter.
You know, Etienne and Lewis are really a great 1-2 punch. They both can run inside. They both can run outside. They've got nice speed. They both have nice lateral movement. They know how to one move and get vertical in the hole. These guys are solid running backs. Both of them are back. As we said, Etienne is a sophomore and Jalen Lewis is a junior.
Now the third quarter is going to run down. The clock running down and the third quarter is done. 14-12. The lead belongs to the Jennings Bulldogs by 2 extra points over the McDonogh 35 Roneagles. Ken Berthelot, Wade Kaiser. We're going to keep it right here. I want to remind you that Crescent City Sports and Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Lamarck Ford and Kenner. Now with an all-new 12-bay quick lane servicing all makes and models for brakes, tires, oil changes, and more. Come see our Lamarkable deals and service, because I can assure you the Lamarkable deals are remarkable deals. Come see the Lamarkable deals and service at Lamarck Ford, or you just stop by the dealership, or go to the big store, or just go to Lamarck.com. That's not Lamarck Ford, just Lamarck.com, because they have so much more to offer.
As we're going into the fourth quarter, Kenny, we've got an update from St. James Parish. St. James up 19-14 in the fourth quarter in that semifinal 3A game. We've got still a 3-0 score in the third quarter between Catholic High Baton Rouge and Archbishop Rummel. And in the third quarter, St. Thomas More is up 37-3 on De La Salle.
The give is going to be to Trevor Ashen, and he powers over the right side for some positive yardage, about 7 yards on that one before the Roneagles can stop him.
That will bring up third down, Bulldogs.
But that does bring up third down for the Jennings Bulldogs. We're in the fourth quarter of play. No lead is safe with these two offenses.
A manageable third down and 3 to 4 for the Bulldogs. They like to be in this position on third down.
Third down 4. Oh.
There's a
flag on the play. Before the snap. Roneagle players are pointing toward Jennings, toward the Bulldogs.
That penalty is against the Roneagles.
But it's not.
Oh, my goodness gracious. And a couple of things right there, Kenny. The Roneagles jumped into the neutral zone, so they stopped the play. But the second thing, that Jennings goes so fast from preset to snap that everybody, and I can hear him down on the Roneagle sideline, are yelling that they aren't set for 1 second. As I had alluded to back in the first half, one of the things that you see out of a lot of teams from Southwest Louisiana.
Neutral zone.
Now the penalty will be a first down for the Bulldogs.
So here we go. It's 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. And they'll give the ball to Lewis. Lewis turns the corner, has some positive yardage, and very close to a first down again before being knocked out by Larry Romanique.
Mac 35 had the angles on him, did a nice job coming up and setting the edge and doing everything they had to do. But I tell you what, the speed of Jalen Lewis is really fast. He beat them to the edge and got out on the edge quicker than they could set the edge. He picks up valuable valuable yardage, which brings them, to second and about 4 for first down.
Jalen Lewis is just so quick. He's got that first step in little frame, and man, he can make things happen. He'll take it here just trying to push through for the first down. Lewis again. He'll be just a little bit short, but it'll be very close. Third down, very short.
Lewis on the carry.
Now they're going to mark it back at the 30-yard line, so it'll be third and about a yard and a half. Just inside the 30.
That brings up third down.
A little bit more than 1 on third down.
Got an update from Church and Stadium. Archbishop Rummel 7-3 over Catholic in the fourth quarter.
Wow. Here's just a push by the big Lawrence Wilridge pushing forward. Did he get it? No sign yet from the official. They will unstack this pile. Let's see on this keeper.
It's called a goose, Kenny. Walk right up there, goose your center right there real quick, have him go one side. You wedge up front or apex it up front with your guards and your center and your tackles, and you get that big push with your offensive line and pick up that yardage that you need for a first down. They're going to have to bring the chains out to measure this.
And while they bring the chains out, that'll give us an opportunity one more time to remind you and thank our sponsors for Crescent City Sports and these Crescent City Sports streams. Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Riverlands Insurance, meeting all your insurance needs, and is a proud recipient of the Top Insurance Workplace Award for 2019 from Insurance Business America. First down as they stretch the chains out. Call Riverlands Insurance at 1-800-336-4579 or go to RIVINS.com. RIVINS. That's RIVINS, like Riverland Insurance, short for that, RIVINS.com. So they stretch the chains out. They've got the first down. That is a big first down. And it's inside the 30-yard line of the Roneagles. On first down, they'll just give it to Trevor. And Trevor tries to turn the right corner. Trevor at the end, very close. David Ellis makes the stop. That'll bring up second down and about 9.
The Roneagles come up and do a great job. You can see right there setting the edge and allowing for their pursuit to catch up. That's the way you play defense. That's a great job right there.
At the 26-yard line. Now they moved that downs marker and moved it up a little bit. So they'll give him about, let's call it a little bit more than 2, almost 3 on the play. Trey Williams has been splitting wide. And he's been very quiet. Nothing thrown to him yet. They haven't had to because Jalen Lewis is making runs like that, but Roneagles stop him as he crosses the 25-yard line, getting inside the 25, short of the first down. That'll bring up a third down now for the Jennings Bulldogs as they drive here. They are eating up some clock as they do this. This is that long, methodical clock-eating drive. We're down to 8 minutes, 19 seconds in this game. The 2-point lead belongs to Jennings.
They're going to take every second they can coming out of the huddle. They'll snap that ball somewhere down at about 5-4 seconds left on this clock.
Oh, a little fumble on the play, and quickly Trevor at the end has it, but he's brought down way back, and one of the Roneagles seems injured, slow to get up and does, but what a big defensive play. And I say big defensive play, it's really more of a play where the fumble hurt Jennings.
He's not reading that. I mean, I got a good look at it right there. He was told to pull and pitch that football because had he read that, he would have given the ball right there on the outside veer. So he pulls and pitches it immediately, and the pitchback wasn't ready for the ball. Big play for the Roneagles right there, pushes them back, really gives them some cushion right here on that big play. It's going to force Jennings to have to punt the football.
We think.
Huh?
We think.
Well, we think, yeah. I mean, I like the idea. I like the idea of punting the ball and punting them down deep and playing defense, making them have to go 90 or so yards. Their offense isn't built here you don't want to give the ball up right here at this position. Their offense isn't built to pick up a fourth and decade?
No.
I mean, so let's punt the ball down there. Let's kind of dribble the thing out of bounds. Now don't punt it in the end zone. And it becomes a net 10-yard, 15-yard punt.
On the other hand, if you fake it, you get a few yards, you don't get the first down, it acts like a punt, you back them up inside the 20 even more.
Punt the football.
Punt the football, says the coach. And when you think about it, and when you take the emotion out of it, use logic, great call.
I mean, punt the football. It's what we do. I mean, that's the thing. Looks like that is what they're not going to do.
Well, they were lined up in punt formation. They were going to go for it.
I mean, what do I know?
Oh, quick snap. They're going to throw it out. Oh, he's got a shen, and it's a touchdown. They just wheeled him out, and he was wide open, and Trevor Ashen with the touchdown catch. My goodness.
They run post rail. Ashen comes out of the backfield, runs the rail route down the boundary. That's the best thrown ball tonight by Bub Wilridge. Lays it out there and let him run. He runs past the defender. What do I know? I would have punted the football. But I tell you what, that's the reason why I'm sitting. That's the reason why I'm sitting up here, and Rusty Phelps is sitting down there with a lead, and 1 minute before he goes into the fourth quarter, and the possible chance to go to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Well, we would hesitate in just a moment because they had a clock malfunction.
Right. Okay, well, I look at the 1 minute. Now it's back to 7-11 in the fourth. I mean, I tell you what, I mess up on that, and I just mess up on that call. You guys need to fire me. I mean, Rusty Phelps, that takes big kahunas to make that call right there. That's a big call.
Ian Mullen with the extra point. That's his 50th of the year in 59 attempts, and a really big one because now that makes this a two-score ball game.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can't say enough about Rusty Phelps making that call. That's big. That is big guts right there to make that call when you have to make it.
Fourth down and forever, and my goodness, on 4th and long, they had the punt team on, and they pulled them off, called timeout, talked about it, came back, floated a shan out on a wheel right to the left side, and he was wide open, and Wilridge hit him 32 yards, touchdown. My goodness.
That might have been the biggest pass that Bub Wilridge has made all year long for the Jennings Bulldogs. He laid that out, just allowed Ashan to run underneath it as he was coming out of a wheel route out of the backfield.
And that makes it 21-12 now. Again, the importance of that extra point by Ian Mullen makes it a two-score ball game for 35 with 7:11 to play. And Ian Mullen gets set to send it deep for the Bulldogs. Oh, he won't. He'll squib it. Surprised us here. And it's floating around, and McDonogh 35 has to jump on it. Very dangerous. Wow, they just did get a player on that ball in time, and it looked like for a moment it was going to be a long onside kick. And slow to get up off the ground is the Roneagle, who jumped on that ball. May have just knocked the wind out of him a little bit. But wow. Just a desperate, critical save by McDonogh 35 and the player who was down.
Just got an update from St. James. St. James has gone up again, 24-14. The number 1 seed in 3A. St. James up 24-14. Couple of scores from around the state real quickly while we got a second. St. Thomas More 44, De La Salle 3. In the 5A semifinals, Acadiana 21, Zachary 14, Destrehan 20, Houghton 10. That Lakeshore score, get this, Kenny. Warren Easton 42, Lakeshore 28. Let me say that again. Warren Easton 42, Lakeshore 28 in the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter. Wow. What I'm going to tell you what, an explosion. Again, you're looking at a team. Jerry Phillips lost their quarterback about 2 weeks before the start of the season when he transferred over to Bell Chase. Parents got a job at a different place across the river, and he had to find a quarterback, and he didn't have one.
How would you
and
like
he had to put an athlete back there?
How would you like to see an Edna Carr Warren Easton final? Because Edna Carr is up 33-21 on Neville in the fourth quarter.
Well, I think there's a little unfinished business from Warren Easton's standpoint with Edna Carr.
There always is unfinished business between Carr and Warren Easton in this city.
Goes back to last year when it was so close. Warren Easton hasn't won a state championship since World War II. Not the end of it, the beginning of it, 1942. They'd like to get back. They were denied that by Carr last year. They'd like to go back and get it this year. I hope it'd be a heck of a battle to see that happen again. First down. They've got to make up a lot of ground very quickly. It's a jump ball, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted by Jennings. Ethan Mack. Boy, Ethan Mack has been a leader, and down on the ground just upset with himself is Dwayne Dales because he couldn't win the jump ball. It was underthrown and became a jump ball situation, and Ethan Mack just went up and got it.
Taking a shot down the field, ball's underthrown. Ethan Mack makes a great play on the ball, goes up at its height, and comes down with the ball. Great turnover right there for the Jennings Bulldogs. This could be a dagger for the McDonogh 35 Roneagles.
Well, it'll depend on how the Roneagle defense can respond. But one thing for sure, with 7:01 to go, they cannot, the defense by the Roneagles cannot afford to give up any points. It's a two-score game now at 21-12. Oh, the importance of the kicking game, the importance of the extra points, both because of no kicking game by the Roneagles. So Jalen Lewis on the carry gets a little bit. And what you want to see now, if you're a Jennings Bulldog, is just long clock-eating drives.
They're in the 4-minute offense.
Yeah.
4-minute offense. You want to snap the ball with under 5 seconds left, around that time on the 40-second clock.
Play clock wasn't working at the start of the game. They got it working by the second quarter or so. Everything's fine with that. We had the bad weather. We had 2 different rainstorms during the course of this ball game. These teams have fought through it, and it has been a close, well-played game by both teams. Again, nothing fancy, just a dive, this time over left tackle. That's going to be Trevor Eshan again.
Roneagles are going to have to start thinking about using their timeouts.
Yep. And they heard you.
And they heard me.
They heard you. The Roneagles call their first timeout of the second half with 6:05 to play, and a good timeout right there because it's third down coming up. So if you can stop them here, you can get the ball back without too much having run off the clock. I think you'll see on third down Jacorian Palfrey very much in the loop here, but when McDonogh 35, or I should say if McDonogh 35 gets the ball back, you're going to have to get a little help for Steven Williams. Claudel McDonald and possibly Ashton Jones or Renwick Doyle has been very quiet. You might just have to spring a few people on some action or get them involved in the offense that have not been involved very much in touching the football in this game up to this point. Here's your third down play. They're just going to toss it. Your receiver fell. The receiver fell. It's just an overthrow. Incomplete. They were looking for Jacorian Palfrey.
Well, they might have gotten their feet tied up a little bit, but Palfrey goes down, or he just trips, or something reaches up out of the turf and grabs his ankle. I don't know exactly what it was, but the ball's grossly overthrown, way out of bounds. It's going to force Jennings into punting the football. The thing bad about that is the clock stops. That's the thing that Jennings didn't want to do. Yeah. I get why they take a shot right there, but you've got to weigh right there whether or not you can run off another close to 40 seconds or longer rather than stopping the clock at 6:01.
Noah Brissett, good punter, big rush, and he just gets it off. He might have been tipped. A flag down as Brissett got run into, and this might be roughing the kicker. Yeah, you can see most of the McDonogh Roneagle players are just all disgusted with themselves right now as David Raines put the big rush on, almost got the football but didn't, and he got the kicker instead.
That's a bad mistake right there by the Roneagles. It's going to end up, if it is a personal foul, it's going to be 15 yards and a first down.
Wow.
Here we go. You take a look at it. Is it running into or is it personal? Well, it could possibly be running into. He kind of turned his body and he was trying to maybe break his speed, so it's going to be a judgment call by the white hat here.
They're talking about it.
The question yet. Here's what they're going to say. Was there intent to go after the punter? I don't think there was intent here, so you might just get a 5-yard running into the kicker penalty, which would bring up fourth down again.
Now they still are discussing it. Here's the call.
So there you go. It was running into the kicker. It was declined, and it'll be first down, Roneagles.
So they will.
I think that's a good call by a very good, experienced officiating crew right there.
Yeah,
no intent in running into the kicker. No hitting of the leg. He was actually trying to turn his body and break himself as he knocked him to the ground. Great acting job by the punter. Great call by the white hat. I had to throw that in there.
And the Oscar.
Do you know that's taught? Do you know that's taught?
Yes, I do.
I mean, I taught punters to do that.
Not only do you teach punters to do that, but when you go to these kicking camps and punting camps, they're taught. Absolutely.
It's like you're shot with a high-powered rifle. Pow! You got to go down, you know? I mean,
1st and 10 at the 31. Time running out of the Roneagles. They need to move it. 5:51 to go in the game. They trail. Remember, they trail by, it's a two-touchdown game. They trail by, wow, incomplete.
Taking shots down the field, throwing into double coverage. Lucky again, that wasn't picked off by the Jennings Bulldogs. That was C.J. Willridge on that particular coverage right there with the possible option of picking that off. Ethan Mack was there too.
Well, again, and you're looking at a team that's a power running team, but because they trail by 9 and this is a 2-score game, they've got to throw the ball. This is not the comfort zone of the Roneagles, but they've got to make it work because, again, you got to get some points on the board quickly.
Well, let's get your guy Stephen Williams out of the backfield and get the ball in his hands and let him work in the open field some.
Stephen Williams, they need him to break something. They need some help from Claudell McDonald on the outside, one of their better receivers. Danuel Armstrong has gone the distance. We have also not seen Damon Pratt. They'll sometimes play him at the quarterback slot. Has a good arm also, but so far it's been Danuel Armstrong all the way, and he has engineered a good game, good drives too. And there's a little toss and a drop by Rashad Bester. They haven't used him a whole lot. His second touch of the game, and he dropped that one. Wouldn't have gotten much. Pursuit was closing in quickly, but might have gotten him back close to the original line of scrimmage. Now it's 2nd down and still 15.
Kenny, score update from St. James, 25-14. St. James, it is a final. St. James, the number 1 seed, will be one of the teams that will be in the 3A finals in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome to meet either the Roneagles or the Bulldogs here tonight.
Watch Claudell McDonald, top of your screen on 2nd and 15. Oh, he's being rushed. He's got to throw quickly, and he had to throw it down quickly. Got hit as he threw. Rashad Bester was the intended receiver, but Jaden Saunier, was about to lower the boom.
Jaden Saunier has played a great game tonight for the Bulldogs. Watch him come off of the edge at the top. You'll see him right there. Nobody touches him. He's all over Armstrong before he can get the ball out. We've called his name tonight, and he's only a sophomore. He's got a great future in front of him, Jaden Saunier.
Both of these teams have a lot of very good players who are young. The Bulldogs have almost everybody coming back. So if they make the Superdome next week, wow, they could very well be the favorite to be there again next year. He's got some time. He's looking. He's got a man wide open in the middle of the field. Pass completed, and it is completed. And this one might go. This one, Rashad Bester.
That's the big play that they needed.
All the way down to the 11. Citizen brought him down.
They hit Rashad Best up right over the middle of the field right here, and then he doesn't get tackled. He takes it down deep into Jennings territory. Look at the speed right here as he pulls away from the Bulldog defenders. Great block right there. Again, he's blocking back against the flow of the play. My goodness, I don't know why that isn't a flag. But anyway, he's stopped just at the 10-yard line.
Ethan Mack.
The crackback block right there. I think they missed a crackback block, which has one of the Bulldogs,
Ethan
Mack down.
And boy, he's one of their leaders, a free safety, a junior, and a leader on defense and special teams. And good news, he is up and looks to be okay. That's
the big play that the Roneagles were looking for right there. That's going to spark them. They've got to come away with 6 points. Actually 8 on this possession.
Wow. Well, now you've got the pressure on the Bulldogs defense. 5:15, and the clock is ticking. And the Roneagles have the ball at the 12-yard line. They're getting some big plays from some unexpected people on that roster. Now we've got a flag on the play before the snap, so let's see what this one's all about. Who moved?
That penalty is against the Roneagles.
It's got an illegal procedure penalty that's going to mark them back 5 yards. Again, in tough situations where the Roneagles have a chance to be able to excel, they're putting themselves behind the sticks with penalties.
Well, clock's running. Under 5 minutes to go. They need 2 scores. They need this one and one more.
They've got to speed
if they
things
can
up.
Get this one. Yep, they got to move it a little bit. A little more sense of purpose. Armstrong at quarterback. And he may tuck it under and run. He will. Armstrong with the keeper from his quarterback position. And he'll be denied. They've got him out of bounds, which will stop the clock inside the 10-yard line. Stops the clock with 4 minutes and 27 seconds to go. Higginbotham on the push out.
Nothing open right there. Armstrong just takes off and he gets knocked out right around, what is that, around the 10-yard line. Excuse me, at about the 7-yard line. They've got to speed things up, even though the clock stopped. They've got to get a sense of purpose, as you said, Kenny.
Can make a first down without making a touchdown. So this is second down at about 6. Steve lands in there. He gets the handoff straight ahead inside the 5-yard line, brought down at about the 3-yard line. Steve Williams.
Get on the line of scrimmage right now. Get your play called. Let's go. They've got to get on the line of scrimmage. There you go.
Steve lands on the side of him. Here's the give to Steve Land again, right up the middle. He's into the end zone, touchdown.
Okay, let's line up and go for 2, Kenny. Let's try not all the kicking, other things that they've been doing all night. Line up, put the ball in number 5's hands. That's what they need to do. Everybody in the stadium knows you're going for 2.
That's it, but they're going to use the swinging gate, line up as if they're going to kick it. And they'll toss that ball to Jamarian Henderson, who somehow fights his way in with great second effort. Jamarian Henderson.
Well, they did it. They did it on the swinging gate, and they get it to one of their athletes, Jamarian Henderson, and he stuffs it in there and picks up the 2 points. Again, taking a huge chance when everybody in the stadium knows you got to go for 2. Go ahead and line up and use your offense. We got ourselves back into a football game with 4:06 left, 1-point game.
21-20, the lead to the Jennings Bulldogs, but the McDonogh 35 Roneagles have just scored, gone for 2. They got it, and with 4:06 to play, you know what's coming, the onside kick. They got one earlier, but was offside by just a yard, and it cost them. Let's see if they can pull it off. We're in the era right now of onside kicks working.
They don't really have to onside kick this thing, okay? Now the clock says that they have 3 timeouts, which I don't think they should have 2, right?
Yeah, folks, the scoreboard's not working. We have no down difference, anything else.
So here's the deal. The deal is they can kick this ball deep, squib it on the ground, cover this thing, and they can use their 2 timeouts and get the ball back on their last shot on a drive. Let's see what happens.
Well, they will onside kick it, but I think they touched it before. Let's see. I think they touched it before it went 10 yards. Let's see. There's a big scramble for it. Roneagles say they have the ball. A flag is down. Also, there's a flag down, so let's see. We are dead even with the 49-yard line, and it looked as if the Roneagles might have touched it before it went 10 yards by a yard. Illegal touch.
It's illegal touching.
That's it. Got it 1 yard early.
That's 2 times tonight on 2 onside kicks. They had an offsides earlier in the game, I think back in the first quarter, and then they went with the onside right there, and there was illegal touching prior to the 10 yards that the ball traveled.
Oh, man, I'm going to tell you, it went 9, and they touched it. If they could have hesitated just a bit more, they might have had it, but with 3:59 to play, a 1-point lead, 21-20, the Jennings Bulldogs has the football at the 49-yard line of the McDonogh 35 Roneagles. Here we go. On first, bobbled it. And Wilrich has to just fall on the ball. He bobbled the snap, had trouble holding it, and goes down quickly. Tyree Nelson making sure he stays down.
Well, they need to make sure that they hold on to that football. Can't afford a turnover right here. Looks like the guard hit the ball. He didn't secure the ball into the midsection as the guard was pulling it and knocks the ball right out of his hands. You've got to make sure you belly that ball off of the snap. That's fundamentals right there. Can't be waving it around. That's what happens. The guard hits the ball, puts the ball on the ground, and obviously the turnover is what you can have right here. Good job by Wilrich getting on the ball the minute it fell on the ground.
Now back at their own 46-yard line.
We got our timeout.
Going to be called.
While we have a timeout real quick, around the state there are some great games going on. Let me run some of these scores that are in the fourth quarter real quick. Archbishop Rummel 14, Catholic High Baton Rouge in the fourth quarter. St. Thomas More, fourth quarter 51-3 over De La Salle. In the 5A semifinals, Acadiana 21, Zachary 14, Destrehan 27, Houghton 17. And it looks like it could possibly end up being in Warren Easton, Edna Carr 4A final. Warren Easton 50, Lakeshore 28, Edna Carr 33, Neville 21. Already a final. St. James has punched its ticket 25-14 over Union Parish.
I want to remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is presented by Yale College Inn and Rock and Bowl. College Inn, a true New Orleans farm-to-table restaurant, open Tuesday through Saturday for dinner, and the home of the New Orleans Sports Hall of Fame. And I want to thank Crescent City Sports and Riverlands Insurance for sponsoring Prep Football. We'll get a little bit more to that in just a moment. We're ready to go. This time an end around, and Trevon Ashane's got it, and he is pushing forward, just denied the first down, knocked out of bounds at the 41-yard line of McDonogh 35. Boy, they'll run Trevon Ashane. No, it's spelled differently and no relation to Trevor.
We saw this play earlier in the night. We saw the Z reverse. They do it again, and they put a speedster with Trevon Ashane right there. He gets the ball, he gets out there, and he gets that first down. Or close to the first down, I'm sorry. So it brings up 3rd down and 1. Big play for Jennings right here.
They'll mark that ball at the 41-yard line, probably just a tad bit more than 1 yard on that. 3:03 to play, and they're taking their time. They may call timeout and talk about this again. As they do, let me get this in for Riverlands Insurance. Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Riverlands Insurance, meeting all your insurance needs, and a proud recipient of the Top Insurance Workplace Award for 2019 from Insurance Business America. Call Riverlands at 1-800-336-4579 or go to rivinsrivens.com. Well, I'll say this, while these two teams are there, Warren Easton's on a mission, and you may see more people in the Superdome if those two teams, Edna Carr and Warren Easton, meet again. We've got a big one here, and I'll tell you what, you'll see just as many. Everybody, Jennings will relocate to the Louisiana Superdome if they hold on and win this game, which they're leading by 1 with 3:03 to play, and they're facing a very big 3rd down and just a little bit more than 1. Lewis and Ashane gets the call, and he's got the first down. That's big.
Big first down right there. They run the veer. They give the ball to their stud running back, Trevor Ashane. Picks up the first down. Clock continues to run.
2:55 and counting.
Mag 35 needs to think about taking their timeouts and using them right here.
They only have 2 timeouts remaining. The McDonogh 35 Roneagles do. And again, you're not going to see any hurry. You're going to see every second of the play clock being used by the Bulldogs of Jennings. 1st and 10. New set of downs. They can run this clock down big time by taking their time. Here's the give to Lewis. Jalen Lewis, just with an ankle tackle, denies him making the turn on the end around. Jamarian Henderson with a big ankle tackle in the backfield.
Jamarian Henderson does a great job setting the edge. Watch him up top. Watch him set the edge on the sweep. Plays off the block, flattens out. Good angle of pursuit right there. Just gets a hand on the ankles and trips him up. Great job right there. Did you see how he ran laterally to be able to get in a good angle of pursuit? Young guys out there watching that, that's the way you do it from a defensive outside linebacking position.
Well, the timeout called by McDonogh 35. The scoreboard shows that they have none remaining. I thought they had 1 remaining. None. That's it. That's their last timeout.
They had to use it right there.
They had to use it.
They had to use it.
They used one just a little bit earlier, and they used that one. So McDonogh 35 Roneagles cannot stop the clock with 1 minute to play.
Well, if Jennings picks up the first down here, this game will be over. They can kneel it out.
Yep, that's it.
All right, Roneagles, here we go.
But they're not there yet.
Don't worry about the clock. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. The clock is all right. The clock is all right.
Look at the clock.
The clock was showing 1 minute, now it's showing 2:18, and that's where it's supposed to be. So the officials thought that there may have been something wrong with the clock.
Fix the fucking clock.
My man.
All right, people are getting upset about the clock.
Hey.
And now we got a play being run.
The clock has an automatic malfunction.
All right, you got people really coming up to the press box getting mad at the... All right, they're going to remove that young person. And they've got the clock right now at, if you're watching on TV and you see the clock on our stream, 2:02.
Who do I talk to about more pay? Excuse me, is it you? I'm getting yelled at by people on the outside of the press box. I need more pay. I just asked the guy to move.
If I came up to the press box, I'd think you look like the most official person here. I'd yell at you too. The clock is being adjusted. One of the fans from McDonogh 35 got very upset that it went down to 1 minute. So the clock is malfunctioning. Someone was blaming the clock operator.
They were blaming the analyst. They were blaming the analyst.
You just look way too official. Dress down for this next year.
Holy smokes, man.
Folks, you just have to laugh about it. That's all. That's all you can do. And if you want to know why McDonogh 35 Roneagles fans are so exciting, because this has been a very emotional game for them. They were trying to get Coach Wayne Reese, who's 75 years old, or 75 years young, because he's got the spirit and the fire in the belly to coach. They're trying to get into the Superdome for the first time in way over 40 years of coaching. 255 wins. He's never been to the Dome. And
hold on, let me go tell him and have a conversation with him about the clock and why it's not working. Good night.
All right, 2:02. I think we've got all of that settled. And they just wanted to call for a little press box security in case it was needed.
Oh, a couple of things real quick. Archbishop Brummel has won the Select School Division I Championship 14-10. That is a final over at Turchin Stadium. Acadiana 21-14 over Zachary. That is a final in the 5A. semifinal. And late in the fourth quarter, Destrehan 27, Houghton 17.
Oh, wow. Look, there's more craziness going on in the stands right now than there is on the field. Everybody on the field is calm. There's a few fans who don't understand what's happening with the clock, and they were blaming the clock operator and the official here.
And the analyst.
Well, the analyst, but hey, we like to blame you for everything. What the heck? Blame Kaiser. What the heck, man? Ken Berthelot, Wade Kaiser, analyst.
Analyst. Him. He's the analyst. That guy right there, no hair. He's the analyst.
Now I know why you lost your hair.
He's the one that broke the clock.
Oh, man. Just actually one fan is all it is, got very upset and thought he'd come up here and fuss at the officials. So there is stoppage on the field while they make sure they get everything set down.
The shame, Kenny, about this whole thing is because of one fan and the way the fans are acting in the stands, it is taken away from the momentum of two football teams out there.
Yeah.
All right? And that's the problem. It's not about the fans, it's about the players on the field. And that's what I've always had a problem with when it's gotten down to stuff like this. The officials are doing what they have to do because there needs to be security in the press box to not only take care of everybody in the press box, but also with the officials that are in the press box that are operating the clock. So this game is on hold until this ends up taking place.
And then look, let me credit McDonogh 35 Roneagle fans. There were many of them that tried to pull this guy away from everybody. They tried to get this guy away from everybody, but he was just upset. So he was going to have his say. And most of the fans in the stands have separated him from this area and have pulled him away, and now they'll have an Orleans Parish deputy in the area to make sure that everything is okay. And rightly so for the officials up here, because they're the ones sitting in the sitting here with the stripes on, and that's the one that if a fan would get upset, they would blame that person. So, but you're right. It's taken away the momentum. We have stoppage on the field, and the teams.
This is a shame. One of these two teams has an opportunity, and momentum was on their side, and then all of this has caused them to have to stand out there and get cold.
Yes, absolutely. So the officials are going to leave the press box to make sure that they are okay, because this one fan was upset, and they are going to be escorted out of the press box. I can tell you now that 99.99% of the people sitting on the McDonogh Roneagles side were trying to get this person away from the press box because this person was so mad. But
I have no control over it.
they do have a few more Orleans Parish deputies just coming to make sure nothing's wrong. The person, I think, now is settled himself down and is fine. But the officials have decided they do not want to be in the press box, and they want to be escorted to the field. Time will be kept on the field from here on out, and you won't have the 40-second clock operated from up here in the press box area. And that's the only sad part there. But I do want to credit McDonogh 35 Roneagle fans. They tried to pull this one person away. We don't even know if that person's associated with anybody at the school. Everyone at the school did their best to try to pull this person away without doing anything that would have instigated further the situation. And for that, you have to credit all the people in the stands and the people associated with McDonogh 35 for being here. So the deputies escorted the two officials who sat next to us in the press box, and they escorted them down on the field where they feel more comfortable now because this person was upset. So the meantime, as Wade said, the sad part about this is if there was any momentum especially from the McDonogh 35 Roneagles side, because they're the ones that trail by a point, it's been lost. And with 2:04 to play in this game, both coaches are just trying to keep their team's mind and framework in the game. You know, usually it's the fans sitting there watching coaches and players go at it, and the players are standing there going, what the heck? We're watching some crazy people in the stands go at it. So the officials are down on the field who are sitting with us in the press box. It's not a very far walk here at Pan American Stadium. The sight lines are very low. And with the status of this game, now we're ready to play football. The stands are pretty full on both sides, as you would expect. So now with 2:02 to go, we're ready to go. It is third down. And here's the give to Lewis. Lewis cuts into the line after starting out to his left, and he won't get much. He gets to at the 35-yard line.
Here's your dilemma. What do you do if you're Jennings? You run it all the way down and you call timeout and you punt the football.
Well, the clock didn't start, so they're going to keep time on the field, so we won't be able to tell you how much time they got on the field. The officials will keep the time on the field, and we're just going to have to kind of guess with you. If you want to keep I don't know if you're pretty good at keeping a stopwatch on this thing, but
I'm ducking the fans right now. Pretty good at that. No, but seriously, let's look at Jennings right now. They're facing a fourth down. What do you do here? Now, I called it last time, punt the ball.
Well, they're going to come up to the line quick. Last time they did this, they got a quick snap. They do get a quick snap, and they will hand it off, and that's going to not get the first down. That's going nowhere to the right side. McDonogh 35 holds on.
Okay, my goodness gracious.
Turn it over on downs. They turned it over on downs. So
Tell you what, Kenny, I did not like that. I did not like that. You run the clock all the way down. You take as much time off of it as you possibly can, and you then either take a delay a game penalty, back it up, and punt the ball down there. You don't, at that stage of the game, give them the ball back at the 35-yard line.
Well, we know we have less than 2 minutes to play, and here comes the offense at their own 34-yard line. Danuel Armstrong at quarterback. He's got wideouts to the top and bottom of your screen. 2 to the top, 2 to the bottom. The lefty is going to throw it over the middle. He's got a man dropped. Oh, into the hands of Dwayne Dales, a junior, and he dropped it.
Running 4 verticals. Dwayne Dale had the ball placed right in his hands. He catches that ball there in business over midfield.
He catches that ball, he may have gone.
He could have split the safeties. Absolutely correct.
Because
running the 4 verticals. The ball's delivered nicely right there into the post route.
So we're only going to guess at about how much time we've got left. And I'm going to guess right now somewhere in the 145 area in this game. We hope we can get some type of call from the officials so we'll know. Here's the snap. Big pressure coming from the backside. He'll throw another one, dropped right in the hands of Rashad Bester.
Rashad Bester, the young man that had the big catch back about 2 minutes ago to put Mac 35 into scoring position. Drops an out route right here, wide open. Ball's placed very nicely by Armstrong. Just drops the pass. You got to have that. Those are big plays right now. You got to have, obviously.
Now you're thinking here maybe nerves a little bit.
Well, these are plays you got to make.
Third down, 3rd and 10. 3 wideouts to the bottom of your screen, 1 to the top. A lot of room. If Armstrong wants to run it, he will. And quickly, the pursuit comes in and forces him out of bounds, which will stop the clock again being kept on the field. We're going to guess at about 125, but that's only a guess.
It'll bring up about 4th down and 5. That's manageable. You know, you had to think that you had, 2 downs to get 10 yards right there.
You got to go for it. I mean, this is 4th down territory. You have nothing left if you can't pick it up here, but you don't have to get it all if you're McDonogh 35. You just need 5 yards.
Maybe a long 5-6.
Yeah, from their own 39. Armstrong waiting for it. Oh, they jumped. Danuel Armstrong, jump flag on the play. And this, I'm pretty sure, is going to be procedure, illegal procedure, against McDonogh 35. It is.
Wide receiver jumps off sides again. You do not listen to the count. You look at the football. Football moves, you move.
Stephen Williams back into the game because now they need 10. 4th down and 10 from the 34-yard line. They've got to get to the 44-yard line on this play. So you'll be able to see if it's an active play, whether a receiver or a ball carrier gets to the 44. Danuel Armstrong. It comes down to this play. Danuel Armstrong with a lot of time. Now the pressure. He's scrambling. He will toss it. It's a diving attempt and he can't get it. Stephen Williams tried, had a hand on it, and it's incomplete. That'll turn the ball over on downs to the Jennings Bulldogs, and that will wrap it up because now the Bulldogs can knee it out, and that will be it. Denying Wayne Reese the opportunity to go back to the Superdome, barring some crazy turnover here. But we should just see Stephen Williams was just slow to get up. He was so just burned out with himself, dove, maybe hurt himself a little bit, but I think just absolutely despondent with himself for not being able to hold on and catch up to that football.
Depending on what the time on the clock, Kenny, like you said, that should be a kneel out by the Jennings Bulldogs.
I'm guessing about 1:20 left in that area, and this should be a kneel out 2 or 3 times. Again, McDonogh 35, no timeouts remaining, 21-20. How important is the kicking game? Extra points have cost McDonogh 35 the opportunity to go to the Superdome. And I know that's disappointing for them. They may have to kneel 1, possibly 2 more times as, again, time being kept on the field. But wow, we'll wrap a lot of this up. This is an amazing turn of events, and that is it.
And that is the end of the ball game. Jennings Bulldogs to the Superdome to face St. James next week in the 3A state final.
Wow. 24 years at Jennings, and Coach Rusty Phelps has got his shot at the state championship. And look, a loaded team, folks. If you're watching this and you're a Jennings fan, they're not losing very many people. I can assure you, no matter what happens next week, they're going to be the favorite to be there again next year. This is a loaded football team, and you didn't even see the best tonight of Trevor, as you would know it everywhere around the country, at the end, Trevor Ashane, as we would say in South Louisiana. And wow, with him and Jalen Lewis, Ashane's a sophomore, Jalen Lewis is a junior, Wilridge, the quarterback, is a junior. Palfrey, Jacorian Palfrey, in his first year of ever playing football, he never even threw it around in the yard with family. He was all basketball until this year, a junior. This team is loaded for bear, and you've got to congratulate both teams on a well-played game. And you feel bad for Wayne Reese because it was a kicking game that cost him. Could have at least taken it to overtime with a kicking game, but not going to happen. And my goodness, Jennings, what a big win. What a great celebration going on in the end zone for the Jennings Bulldogs as they are on their way to the Superdome. And they do it with a 9-5 record, and McDonogh 35 closes out their season in the semifinals with a 10-4 record. They had won 10 in a row up to this point, and now they have lost this one. Jennings brought a 5-game win streak in here, and now it's up to 6, and they go to the Dome. What a game next week.
2 good football teams tonight, 2 great coaches. What a great game we witnessed here tonight, and congratulations to the Jennings Bulldogs as they're going to be facing the number 1 seeded team next week at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, St. James Wildcats. It was a pleasure to work with you tonight, Ken. Outstanding football for a semifinal football game.
Hey, before we sign off, I've got to tell you, we have had some strange games, but we've got one with no sight lines tonight, no scoreboard, no down in yardage, rain coming down.
And the analysts getting
people
threatened.
in front of us, and the analysts being threatened because they thought, hey, you look like a guy that would fool with the clock in my book. I mean, golly. And we're always brought peacefully. And again, if you don't know what we're talking about, we're not going to go through it again. But I applaud the people from McDonogh 35. Their fans, their student body really worked hard to restore order against one guy who was mad at the officials for a clock that was malfunctioning that the officials had nothing to do with because it malfunctions electronically on its own. We've had problems with the scoreboard all night. But you know what? Everybody kept their cool except for that one fan, and everybody else kept their cool. We had a good football game, and we have a final score. And that final score is 21-20. The Jennings Bulldogs with a big victory. They move on over McDonogh 35. The Bulldogs of Jennings move on to the state championship game in the Louisiana Superdome, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, next week. Boy, it's going to be a good one. Final comments?
It was an outstanding game. Enjoyed it. And it's going to be a great state final next week in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Okay, man, for Nate and Matt, our producer and cameraman, and for Wade Kaiser and our crew, Ken Berthelot here, saying thanks for being with us. This was a crazy game to broadcast. Rick Thompson, our spotter, did a yeoman's job, as he always does again. A lot of fun from Pan American Stadium. I like this stadium, but if we ever have to do a game here again, I sure hope the lights are working, the electronics are working.
And the security's working.
All right, with that, we're going to say goodnight. For Pan American Stadium in New Orleans, final score again as Jennings punches their ticket to the Superdome for the state championship game. They beat the McDonogh 35 Roneagles 21-20. From Pan American in New Orleans, good night, everybody.